Halfway through the preseason, the potent Saints offense has been noticeably absent. With time running out, time to straighten things out. Now the guys are back home in the dome, hoping some home cooking can spice things up. It's Saints preseason football, all important, game number 3. After 2 preseason games and close to a month at the Greenbrier, the Saints are finally home as tonight, looking for their first win before the most loyal fans of the NFL, the Saints, match up with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hi, everybody. I'm Joel Myers, and welcome once again to Saints preseason football alongside John Stinchcomb as well as Sean Kelly. And this is preseason game number 3. Guys, by far the most significant of the exhibition schedule. The starters, especially on the offensive side, should be there for most of the first half, including Drew Brees in the offensive line. And the encouraging aspect, and we'll get into it, is the play of the defense over the first 2 preseason games. Stinch, former Super Bowl champion, at tackle for the Saints. It's about time the offense back together and we see a ground game.
Well, it's got to improve. This offense doesn't need their run game to finish first in the league, but there's got to be a balance. Less than 3 yards an average per carry is not going to get it done. So with guys like Mark Ingram, he's looking to return to his Pro Bowl form, and C.J. Spiller's finally healthy. That's been the knock for him last year. How can they get this ball rolling? It starts up front. The offensive line has to improve their play. It's been mentioned in the press. Every offensive player with a microphone in front of their face says tonight's a great opportunity to move that ball forward.
Looking forward to the ground game at better than 2.2 yards per carry. Hopefully 4+ in game number 3. And Sean Kelly, the encouraging aspect of the preseason over the first 2 has been not only the defensive unit, but especially the young secondary.
There's no doubt there, Joel. This defense has been trending in the right direction, but tonight Pittsburgh brings a huge measuring stick. Offensive coordinator Todd Haley brings in a Steelers offense that was first in the NFL in yards per play last year, 3rd in average yards per game, 3rd in passing yards per game, and 4th in points per game. Only 16.3% of their drives last year went 3 and out. And for the first time this preseason, they'll roll out their 3 biggest weapons tonight. Quarterback Ben Roethlisberger led the NFL in passing yards per game a season ago. At wide receiver, Antonio Brown will give Delvin Breaux and the Saints secondary all they want after leading the NFL in combined yards last year and total receptions. And tonight, the Saints defensive front, those front 7 guys, will have to deal with the 1-2 punch of Le'Veon Bell and D'Angelo Williams. We've been learning good things about the Saints defense, Joel, but tonight we'll learn a lot more.
Well, it's an exciting time for all of us, and it's good to have you with us for preseason game number 3. Drew Brees Saints finally back home at the Dome. A sense of urgency for the Saints, and their head coach, Sean Payton, knows it.
I want to see our first offense, be better. I want to see us play better in the front. I want to see us run the ball better.
But look, we are right now. Team that's played pretty bad offense. I think the defense played really well. Done a really good job getting after people, and we've been anemic. And look, there's no excuse for that, no matter the time of the season. So that's where we are right now, but there's still time.
Like the honesty of a true team leader in Zach Streep, the starting right tackle. So we're just about ready for the opening kickoff. First, let's head downstairs, though, and check in with our man on the field, John DeShazer. JD?
Well, Joel, that urgency extends to a couple of guys I'll be watching tonight. First is tight end Coby Fleener. He's filling in a critical position for the Saints offense. In the last 5 years, that position has averaged 86 catches, 1,044 yards, 10 touchdowns per season, probably the tops in the NFL. So Fleener has huge holes to fill, and admittedly, the chemistry is not there yet between he and Drew Brees. He wants to improve in every aspect, including his pass blocking. Also a guy to watch, Jairus Byrd. The safety has been injured both preseasons with the Saints the last couple of years, played sparingly in the previous 2 seasons, only 17 games, 1 interception, 5 passes defense, 4 forced fumbles. In his last full season in Buffalo, only 11 games, but 4 interceptions, 6 passes defense, 4 forced fumbles. They believe he is healthy, and they believe he's back to being that guy he was in Buffalo when he was a multiple Pro Bowler. Joel, we'll see, and we'll keep an eye on him tonight. Joel?
All right, John, as you said, though, just good to have him healthy, the depth in the secondary. And in talking about Kobe Fleener, don't forget he came off a career season last year, but it was 54 catches from his former quarterback in college, Andrew Luck. And the new boards are magnificent. You're looking at better than 100 yards of boards right across each end zone of the dome.
What a huge upgrade. Those look awesome from in here.
Changes the whole look of the stadium on both ends.
Ballpark looks great, and it's good to have you with us at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Sammy Coates going back deep. So Pittsburgh won the toss, have elected to receive is Sean Payton. And let's face it, Sean said they want to win in the preseason. That has not occurred, basically due to the stuttering offensive unit. They didn't get into the end zone last week. And there is Coates on the outside, the third-round pick last year out of Auburn. And then the kicking duty, something we'll get into a little bit tonight as well. And for the Saints, it'll be Connor Barth who's going to be kicking it off to start things. And we are now underway in game number 3. And the low-line drive is going to be brought back by Fitzgerald Toussaint, former Domer. He's got a little lane over to the left side and takes it out across the 25, out to the 26. Our starting lineups brought to you by Visit Baton Rouge. Good camp for Edibali as well as Davidson, and little do they know Fairley would become so prominent due to the injury up front. Cam Jordan, the constant over there. Laurinaitis, let's see if he's the playmaker, the guy calling the signals in the middle in this group. Well, P.J. Williams, the spotlight is definitely going to be on him on the corner. So Bro in press coverage, bottom of your screen. Now we are underway. Roethlisberger on first down, and behind his tight end, Jesse James, out of Penn State, a 5th-round pick last year, and it was kind of a double clutch because where he wanted to go over to the far side was taken away.
Well, good coverage. They lined up Kenny Vaccaro right at the end of that line of scrimmage right there, leaving Bird deep, single high safety, playing coverage. Only rush 4 right there. Tries to dump it off. Roethlisberger's looking for his tight end. Good coverage by the Saints D.
Roethlisberger injured, played in 12 games last year, now getting ready for his 13th year out of Miami of Ohio, out of the gun. Little flare in the flat, and Bell stays in bounds. He's got a first down, Le'Veon Bell out of Michigan State. Pro Bowler 2 years ago, but then he was lost November 1st of last year, trying to make it all the way back from a knee injury. Played only 6 games last season.
For the Steelers tonight, they're trying to figure out how they can get their chemistry back for their big playmakers. Their first exposure for Roethlisberger, Brown, and Bell.
And like the Saints, they come in 0-2 so far in the preseason and shut out by the Eagles last week. The bubble screen to the wide receiver as they slow down Marcus Wheaton. But still, decent yardage for him over to the sideline. And when it looked like he was probably going to lose a yard or 2, he gets 4 after all is said and done.
Well, that's Devontae Harris right there, the cornerback positions. Has a shot to make a play, isn't able to wrap him up. These wide receivers for the Steelers are shifty.
Kenny Vaccaro punched him out of bounds. Bell stays in the backfield flanking Roethlisberger. Big guy, 34-year-old. Known for the most starts, most wins in Pittsburgh Steeler history. And with their history, that says a lot. 6'5", 240-pounder. Man, quick one. Timing pattern. It works as he puts it out to Antonio Brown. And this guy's absolutely remarkable. 136 catches last year and setting all kinds of standards for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he tied Julio Jones at the top of the NFL for receptions. His combined yardage, not just receptions, but all that he did was well over 2,000 yards. He led the NFL in that category as well. He's been amazing.
Another first down as they pull it off in front of P.J. Williams. From the 26, second first down of the game for the Steelers as they have it at the midfield stripe. Too much time for Roethlisberger, and D'Angelo Williams was the target. Former Carolina Panther, a first-round pick of the Panthers back in 2006. So those two have to get on the same page as well, a newcomer.
The Steelers have come out throwing the ball. It's pass after pass right now. Good experience for P.J. Williams. He's going to match up with none better this season. So tonight will be a good gauge, as Sean said earlier, as to where he stands by week 3.
They empty the backfield. Williams is over on the far side. So like a 4 wide receiver set, Roethlisberger on a pattern down the sideline and overshooting Eli Rogers, a guy that was not drafted in his second season out of Louisville, was on injured reserve last year. So a time for Pittsburgh to find out who is going to be behind Antonio Brown, Marcus Wheaton, and Sammy Coates. Is it going to be Darius Hayward-Bay, Eli Rogers? They're going to take a long look at a couple of guys in the first half as well. And now big third down for the Saints defensively. So good coverage that time. We talked about Crawley and Devontae Harris. Bell is back in there. Middle of the field available, and can he get the first down? Yes, it looks like stretching out Eli Rogers will get it due to the hit from behind by the Saints linebacker.
I thought Harris had him held up right before the 40-yard line, which is pretty much the first down marker here. But Joe, you're right, the secondary hit may have given him the first down here. Harris just trying to whip him to the ground.
And Laurinaitis came in. Another first down. That's 3 straight on a drive that started back at the 26 for Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger now 4 for 6 on this first possession for 34 yards, dinking and dunking them underneath. Too much of a cushion. Easy throw and catch, and it's complete in front of Williams to Antonio Brown. And we were talking about the 136 for him last year. How about 129 catches 2 years ago, 110 in 2013. Pretty amazing what he's done over the last 3 seasons for this franchise. Final year of his contract. He's already said to them during camp, come on, it's time to step up. He wants a new deal now.
8 straight passing plays for the Steelers.
They flank out. Bell. So again, 2 to each side on 2nd and short. And the screen to the tight end. Well-designed play inside the 25. Throw will rip him from behind, but Jesse James gets more than enough with a flag at the end of the play. And it's going to be a hold on the offense.
Holding. Offense, number 53. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
That's her 4-time Pro Bowler, 7th year out of Florida. That's Maurice Ponzi, the center, who picked up the infraction.
He's going to be right in the middle of your screen right here. You're going to watch. It's a little underneath screen to your tight end.
That's a break.
That is fortuitous.
Because it's way past the play. Plays by. And I'm talking about the tight end. His 3-4 yard pass. Jesse Rogers. So it brings it back to 2nd and short. Bell, nice lane into the secondary. He's got a first down to the 21.
This is what Pittsburgh does so well. They start off fast. They're able to mix it up. You've got to be very aware of the threats at wide receiver, and then they've got one of the best running backs in the game, and Le'Veon Bell. You see Pouncey right here. He's pulled around. Very, very rarely can you see a center have the athletic ability to pull around the guard, get up to the 2nd level, and clear a hole like he did right there for Bell.
4 minutes gone by. An impressive start for the Pittsburgh Steelers offensively. Roethlisberger again takes Rodgers what they give him, which is about an 8-9 yard gain. They have done very well with that counter action. And the Pittsburgh Steelers years ago had that counter tray and that trap action. And even usually it's a guard, but as you said, they used the center that time. When
you have Pouncey at center, you've got more options, but this is how Pittsburgh operates. They operate off the run game.
Need a yard. And making a miss. It's a 1st and goal. Bell gets inside the 9. So an efficient drive and cushion on the outside against the young corners. And let's face it, a veteran now getting ready for his 13th year, a 4-time Pro Bowler, Ben Roethlisberger, doing exactly that. So Bell's got it. Mike Tomlin gets ready for his 10th year. It's hard to believe after taking over for Bill Cowher. 12th play of the drive, 1st and goal. It started back at the Pittsburgh 26. Pressure finally comes, but it's a flare in the flat. D'Angelo Williams will be bumped out of bounds right around the 6-yard line. They'll give him the 5. generous spot by a yard. And it's going to be 2nd and goal from there.
But this Saints defense, they're young. They're trying to find that chemistry. First 2 weeks, it seemed fairly easy. They had to start off with 3 and out, 3 and out. This is the first time when you start a game with a little adversity. It's play after play in a sustained drive. Now you have to bow your neck and keep them out of the end zone and settle for a field goal.
Roethlisberger sizes things up from the 5. Backside pressure, throws it wide. And good coverage on the outside. Making the play was Devontae Harris. So Harris and Crawley, the two that we kind of focused in on early in this game of the secondary.
And Harris, I think, might have a chance here of being the starting nickel back. This is twice in this drive he's been in a receiver's hip pocket. He gets away with it, John Stinchcomb, but he makes Roethlisberger throw wide of his intended target.
So 3rd and goal. Can they get pressure, though, on the quarterback? We have not seen really much heat on Roethlisberger. Bell in the backfield on 3rd and goal. Here comes the pressure. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Flag on the play. Jesse Rogers is on the receiving end. And a resourceful Ben Roethlisberger. He's big, but good footwork just the same. And is it a hold in the secondary?
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense, number 49. That penalty is his time. Touchdown.
That's Harris. So Jesse James out of Penn State, who only had 9 catches his rookie season, but Heath Miller is no longer there for Roethlisberger.
This is what makes Roethlisberger so dangerous. Is you got Cam Jordan, he's going to jam up the wide receiver that Roethlisberger is trying to go to. Well, then he moves, he creates space, gives time for the tight end to finally shake loose, and he finds him for a touchdown.
Boswell for the point after. And a perfect start for the Pittsburgh Steelers. A 74-yard drive for Roethlisberger and the Steelers after they were shut out last week, but don't forget Roethlisberger didn't play much. Steelers by 7. This game all brought to you in part by Verizon. And we'll welcome you back to the Dome, the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. And with the new screens in each end zone, looks better than ever. Looks brand new. Now, what about the Saints offense? Did it look like the old Saints offense? A team with an average last year, 25.5 a game at 8th best in the NFL. So back deep, it is going to be C.J. Spiller, not Marcus Murphy. Boswell gets into it. Good hang time. Spiller a yard into the end zone. Turning the corner, and a good burst out to the 25 near the 26. And a bad spot at the 24.
I agree with you on that.
So time into the field. Drew Brees in the offense. On the field for the first time, but down by 7. Future Hall of Famer and 4th all-time leading passer Drew Brees. And the Saints taking the field with their offensive unit. 16 years out of Purdue. 10 straight seasons with 4,000 or more. Yeah, don't forget, 4 consecutive 5,000-yard seasons as well. So Drew Brees at the age of 37, Ben Roethlisberger 34, and it seems like that's the trend in the pros. Once you hit the 30s, it gets better.
Just keep going. I don't know what's going to stop you. He's still playing at a high level. Both are.
From the 24, first snap offensively. Spiller in the backfield. And looking Spiller's way, can he make the first man miss? Yes. That's what they signed him for. A guy that can do a little bit of everything out in the flat, and they knock him out of bounds after a gain of about 5.
Everybody wondered whether or not he was fully back to health. These are the kind of moves, the spin, the cutting that we've seen all training camp that says, yes, C.J. Spiller is back to maybe what he was in Buffalo.
5 years with the Bills. His second now with the Saints. Shift the tight end. Run it to that side. And nothing doing at all. So it's Mark Ingram who is totally engulfed and loses a yard on the play. And we look at the starting lineup. Kuhn is once again the fullback. Snead, Cooks, and this is an important game for Kobe Fleener, trying to get on the same page. The starting lineups are all brought to you by Visit Baton Rouge. And we know the anchors are solid. Left tackle, right tackle, center. And unfortunately, the Saints tight end at the bottom of the pile.
It's Hooman. He's a tight end they're going to need. You see him just get rolled up on, and that's tough to watch. But he was able to limp off, so hopefully he'll be all right. But man, anytime you catch the wave from behind, you got to worry.
First third down of the game for the Saints. Need 6, close to 7. Pocket collapsing. Little shovel is dropped. Was it rushed? Little low. Mark Ingram. And Drew Brees had cleared the pocket completely, so he had time to actually look downfield, going to underneath Ingram. So 3 and out after the long drive of 14 plays and 74 yards for the Steelers.
Well, that was the matchup. Teron Armstead, Jarvis Jones on the left side, forced Drew up into the pocket, tried a little shuttle handoff or pass to Ingram. Leads to a punt.
Eli Rogers waits for the Morstead punt, and a beauty at that. Over to the boundary, near side. And fair catch at the 21. So the Steelers start deep in their own territory, but Roethlisberger and the Steelers offense back out with a 7-point lead. The man they call Hooman, Michael, is down and out, unfortunately. Rolled from behind, saw what happened to the back of his leg, and put no weight on it at all. So bad news right off the bat on 3 offensive snaps.
Manu Inui was a nice pickup for the Saints last year, and you'd almost have to project him right now as the 3rd tight end as we head for the regular season.
Roethlisberger, man, last year's 3rd best in total offense in this unit. Averaged 396 a game. They were 4th in the league in scoring. And underneath, nice little kickout block, Antonio Brown. Man, can he move? It's the yards after the catch for a receiver like that.
Well, they line up in a pistol. Don't see that often, but with an athlete, dynamic playmaker like Antonio Brown, what do they want to do? They want to get him the ball in space. He pulled the right tackle out, have a good key block right there, and let him work. He's a fast guy, so get him in space and let him run.
Creative. Marcus Gilbert, the right tackle you're talking about. The guy that was their 2nd-round pick out of Florida back in 2011. Now the heat off the edge, free underneath. It's complete to Eli Rogers. So the extra pass rush on the outside opened things up for a gain of about 7 as Harris makes the stop.
Well, that's Ellerbe coming off the left tackle's edge to kind of rush the pass underneath, but you know, Roethlisberger's a pro. You're not going to get much past him. He's going to find the open receiver, get the ball out.
First 12 seasons he's been in the league, Ben Roethlisberger has taken Pittsburgh to the playoffs 8 times. Super Bowl champion as well. And on the low snap, isolation, single coverage, and a lot of contact. They let it go. Fortunately for Delvin Breaux, as he was matched up with Marcus Wheaton in his 4th year out of Oregon State.
This is an important down for this defense. You want to get off on 3rd down. This is where you make your money. You didn't see it the first drive. They were able to take the ball down and convert with a touchdown as Hooman's being carted off the field right now. But for this defense, it's a big play. Looks like there's some sort of timeout on the field.
Tonight's scoreboard, all brought to you by Rouse's Best Chefs and Cooks. They shop at Rouse's. So now it's going to be 3rd and 3, and we're going to get a timeout. It'll be Pittsburgh's first. And you talked about it. Hooman on his way to the locker room. Timeout on the field. We'll continue from the dome in just a moment. The squad after they get to 53.
Right. You see who's left off there is Sheldon Rankins, the 1st-round draft pick. So he's going to have a spot. Who else is going to be able to join him once he comes back from his injury?
It's a 3rd and 3 out of the timeout used by Pittsburgh. So they've got 2 remaining in the first down. Pressure on the outside, up for grabs, and taken in by Brown. He'll go the distance. There was a flag on the play, working against the rookie, Devontae Harris.
Let's hope he pushed off.
it doesn't look like it's coming back the way Pittsburgh is responding over on the sideline.
Pass interference. Defense, number 19. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
It was a 57-yard touchdown pass, and it wasn't 19, it was 49. Harris on the outside.
49's and Harris is in press man coverage right there. They run a little rub route. He's able to get around it. Little bump as he looks to find the ball. He turns around just as the ball's passing him and ends up in Antonio Brown's hands for a touchdown.
Perfect start for the Steelers. That drive started back at their 21, 57 yards on the completion. And Chris Boswell with the extra point for Marisol. So going to school early, the young quarterbacks for the Saints who are down by 14. Concern and an upset group over on the bench right now for the Saints. Harris not in bad position, but then lost the ball and the receiver as it went for 57. So the Saints offense, John, you said it best while we were away. They've only been on the field for 3 snaps, and the Saints already down by 14.
Well, you're digging in from a hole, but for this defense, they just need to respond. You've given up 14 points. Okay, offense, you get the ball right now. What are you going to do? You've had 3 opportunities, which is not enough. You ended up with a punt. Now your second series.
C.J. Spiller again. He'll stay in the end zone this time on the touchback. It'll come out to the 25. And we remind you the NFL joined with the Saints in their efforts to aid victims of the recent floods here in Louisiana. And through the NFL, the Saints and the American Red Cross, fans have the ability to donate in every preseason game through the Text to Give program. Began last night. It's going to run through this weekend. So call the number on the screen. Help the victims of this awful situation in Louisiana. Together, you, the NFL, and the Saints can make a difference to those who need it the most right now. And do what you can to help. And we thank all of you that are participating. Ingram's in the backfield. And the Saints will have it for a second time tonight at their own 25-yard line. Breeze underneath. Grab is made. And the tight end Fleener's got it. But a short game. Give him about 4 out to the 29-yard line. We talked about the communication they need, even if it's only 4, getting on the same page.
It's important, and that's probably a design play to go to Fleener to start building that chemistry. It's going to be vital. Drew often looks to the tight end position to create those mismatches.
Good delay, good action. Not enough for the first down, though. Yes. Out to the 34-yard line, short of the first down by a yard, is Mark Ingram. And that was one of the better-looking run plays we've seen so far in the preseason.
Well, you send Brandon Cooks in motion, and it holds Jarvis Jones, their outside linebacker, long enough to create space. So it's trying to highlight Cooks as one of those weapons. They've got to respect that and honor it.
Tight formation, need a yard. And the fullback Kuhn will get exactly that with a spin. So is he positioning himself into a spot on the 53-man roster, a guy who's 10 years in the league and played at such a high level for the Green Bay Packers?
You look at his body of work and it speaks for itself. The only question is what's he got left, and I think so far in 3 games of training camp, he's proven that he's not done playing.
First down of the game. It goes out to the 36. Good pocket protection. Breeze over the middle. Fleener's got it. And he's got a first down, taking a pop inside the 35. Now there is a flag where you normally see a hold in the offensive backfield. It could be coming back.
Holding. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Armstead, the left tackle, is not, let's face it, has not been healthy and has not had a ton of reps. And coming over to the sideline now.
Yeah, I just don't think Armstead's back to 100%. I saw him warm up before the game. He's your left tackle, edge of the screen right here. And he just doesn't seem like he's returned to form yet. Jarvis Jones, underneath move. Usually with Teron, what are you known for? His athleticism. I don't think he's 100%. He left the field.
Yeah, it was a good call. You could see the hold. It negates a 31-yard gain. Move Cooks in motion. On 1st and 20. The dump off is a lateral to Spiller, makes a miss, stays in bounds, and gets some of the penalty yardage back.
I know it's early, but C.J. Spiller's shown a couple different plays. His tackle breaking ability in space. He needs to carve out a role in this offense, and so far he's trying to make that impact.
And good job by Tony Hills, who just came in and left tackle on that play for Teron Armstead.
He got away from Gay, who came up off the edge, and unfortunately, and you brought it up, you watched him in warm-ups. He obviously is not 100% going back to the locker room. Breeze extends it. Willie Snead's got it. And I'm talking about the pocket. And now it's a manageable 3rd and 6 out to the 40-yard line as he's popped by Ryan Chaser.
Senio Clemente is getting a good look now at left guard, and that's that battle right now with Lolito. Which one of those guys can be the left guard? His blocking here up front, Stinch, allows Breeze to climb that pocket a bit.
That's what Drew does so well. He's not a guy that's going to run for 100 yards at the end of the day, but he moves in the pocket like no other.
Well, can they convert? They did on 3rd and a yard. This 3rd and a half doesn't. Ingram in the backfield. A little check off the line by Drew Brees. Flood the wide side with 3. Time for Brees. And now out of bounds. So a 1 first down and failing on 3rd and 6 and a punt coming up. Moats and to it. The pressure on Breeze at the end of the possession.
Well, you get behind the sticks because of the penalty. It negates a beautiful over-the-middle pass to Coby Fleener, something that you should be excited about, but you know, when you negate a big play like that with a penalty, it's tough to overcome.
Second punt of the night. Morstead wobbles it out over to the near side. Man, good hop. Eli Rogers let it go. It cost. And there's going to be a flag at the end of the play.
My guess is Crawley went out of bounds.
Unsportsmanlike. And is it Stupar?
Well, usually it's first touch from being out of bounds, but I'll reserve judgment to find out what exactly they called right here.
Good roll, 57 yards on the punt. Man, does it give Pittsburgh now breathing room?
Illegal touching of the punt. Kicking team, number 46. Because the touching occurred within the 5-yard line. By rule, the ball is placed at the 20-yard line. First down.
Called on Ken Crawley.
Well, legal touch, what they're calling right here is Crawley had run, he was forced out of bounds. Once you're forced out of bounds, you can't be the first player to touch the ball. That looked pretty close to touching his foot.
I think that's off the foot of Rodgers.
Possibly throw the red flag.
Right,
and see if
you may want to challenge
ball.
that because it looked like it was off the foot of Eli Rogers.
I'm glad you explained it, because I didn't realize he had been taken out of bounds.
He'd be the judge.
I think this is what you want to see.
Right.
Does that ball make
that's off his
contact?
shin. That's off his shin. Throw the flag. It'll be first down to the 20. Pittsburgh's 3rd possession of the game. Easy for us upstairs, isn't it?
Well, you'd think somebody's in the booth.
It is D'Angelo Williams. Good yardage. So they show the Jets sweep one way, come back with the action the other way, and 8 yards on first down. And if they score this time, and I brought it up to you, after 2 possessions and long drives, then all of a sudden maybe you get Bell out of there, you get Brown out of there, Roethlisberger out of there, if you get a score here. It's interesting what's developing right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They call it playing with house money, don't they?
Yeah, so far they are.
Second and a couple. Underneath, well thrown. Bobbled initially, but held on to by a longtime Oakland Raider, Darius Hayward-Bay. First round pick of the Raiders back in 2009. He was 7th overall. And it's all the way to the 42. P.J. Williams on the coverage. So they're going to work on the youngsters.
I think right now what you're seeing is the proficiency of Roethlisberger. He's put the ball exactly where he needs to on every play.
Pressure comes. Roethlisberger one-on-one coverage, and it's complete. And make it Landry Jones, actually, who's in there at quarterback now. What a grab by Marcus Wheaton. And as I said, they saw enough in 2 drives from Roethlisberger, got him out of the game, his first preseason activity. And what a throw by the former Oklahoma Sooner, Landry Jones. But Williams has to recognize this.
Good call there. You see PJ's fighting the entire way. A lot of hand jostling between the receiver and Williams at the cornerback position. Ball's dropped in right where it needs to be. Nice ball by Landry.
On first down, Williams altering his course with a hold. It'll come back. It was right in front of the umpire.
Holding, offense, number 66, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
They call it on DeCastro. It could have been called on the tight end, but they'll give it to DeCastro. So pads off early tonight. Man, oh man.
Well, when you come out with 2 series like he had, I think that's earned. But you can see that's it looks like Anyamata right in the middle with an arm stretched out across his belly. They'll usually grab that one with 2 refs behind the offensive line.
So it's back to the 32. First down and 20 now for Pittsburgh. Final 95 seconds. Well, the first 15 minutes of play. Good play off the edge to stuff that play.
That's Darryl Tapp, your right defensive end, to set the edge right there, leaving nowhere for Williams to make that cut. So Tapp's a veteran. He's been doing this a long time. He knows what he's doing out there, and was able to stand up the tackle and set the edge, turn the play back inside for no gain, maybe a 1-yard loss.
They bring back in Le'Veon Bell. He's on the far side of the slot. 2 to each side for Jones on second and long. Underneath, shouldn't produce much, and it won't. It was Devontae Harris coming up on Rodgers, or make it Jesse James right there, though. This drive started back at the 20. The big reception by Wheaton from Landry Jones. And a possibility of more points. It'll be 3 for 3 if they score on this possession. That's how good it's been for Pittsburgh offensively. But as you said, don't forget, this is the 3rd straight playoff team that the Saints are facing in the preseason. It's a 10-16 last year. And they won their first round playoff game at Houston. Underneath, look out, it's Bell. And loses the football. It's on the ground, and the Saints get it. Nobody touched them. Now they're going to blow it dead. It's the linebacker picking it up, Ellerby. And there's a break. You need takeaways, and they made it work.
3rd takeaway this preseason. And Donnell Ellerby, in games he played last season, they were 4-2. We've seen all camp how he lifts the level of this defense with his athleticism. And look at the lick he puts here on shifting just enough to stay squared up to get the ball when it hits the turf.
Yeah, Bro pokes it. Ellerby cleans it up. It's gone right there.
I think what's most encouraging is how many Saints hats are around that ball, that they're converging on Bell. So it creates opportunities for turnovers. It's something that defensive coordinator Dennis Allen has been preaching since day one.
Saints will get it for the 3rd time, this time at their own 22. Deepest territory so far to start a drive. Ingram finds a lane over to the right side and had his legs chopped out from under him, landing kind of awkwardly. That'll do it for the first 15 minutes. End of the first quarter, Pittsburgh dominated. Saints created a takeaway, though, late, and will have it to start the second.
Now we don't have any information on the 2 injured Saints, tight end Michael Humanoa-Inui or left tackle Teron Armstead. Both guys are in the locker room. As reports come, we'll update you. The guy who's replacing Teron Armstead at left tackle, Tony Hills, he's been in this position before. He did so against the Falcons last year in the regular season game when Andrews Pete was injured early, and he was replacing Teron Armstead. Played admirably in that way. And Joel, he's going to have to figure it out tonight and go in and fill in again.
All right, and a veteran who knows his role. Now a little counter action. Spiller popped just beyond the line, down to the 28 as we look at the numbers. And not pretty for the defensive unit at the end of the first 15 minutes of play. So 208 to 20 are total passing yards, 231 to 33 total yards offensively for the 2 teams. And Roethlisberger, boy, he didn't look rusty at all for a guy that's not taking any snaps. It's another 3rd down for the Saints. Cadet into the backfield for the first time, sets up on the hip of the tight end. ton of time for Breeze. Middle of the field. Good grab. It's complete with the flag down on the play. Willie Snead's got it. Boy, talk about a guy. If it's in his neighborhood, he's not a tall guy, but he'll come down with it. And he had 69 last year just like that.
Illegal contact. Defense number 94. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is the first down.
And that pass stinch, it shows how Drew Brees can still thread it through.
Well, the defense is playing games. They're trying to adjust the protection and rotate who's coming off the edge, and Drew's still able to find Snead for a big play.
So just over the linebacker, man, on first down. Good run. C.J. Spiller, who's got a good pop. All of a sudden, that burst looks like it's there for Spiller.
That's the third run play that's come behind Andrus Peat. He's been in the news probably for the wrong reasons past couple of weeks, but in the run game, he's creating some creases right now, and they're taking advantage of it.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's such a load. Maybe that's going to be the strength to get him back on track. Run behind him on that side. Good pass protection. Breeze, a resourceful guy, goes to Willie Snead because Drew Brees was in trouble at the end of that play, and it's another first down. Sean Davis on the coverage.
For young quarterbacks, you got to see the eyes of what Drew Brees does right here. You see the pocket, he's able to step up, and he always keeps his eyes downfield. He's looking for the open receiver. That's going to be a matchup to watch on the left side as Tony Hills comes in, and you're going up against veteran James Harrison.
And unfortunately, the young man who led the Steelers in sacks last year, 8th year out of Ohio State, Cameron Hayward. And they're 3-4. He's the left end. And let's just hope it's a cramp for Hayward and nothing more. Time out of the field. Just about 2 minutes gone in the second quarter. Give me back to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. We'd also like to give you a chance to win a getaway to a Saints home game. Sweet seats, accommodations with our Final Play Getaway contest. Now, you have to download the Final Play app to enter, and we do think it's one of the very best Saints apps you'll see. It's available in the App Store, absolutely free. Search Final Play Saints. We'll see you here in the suite and accommodations for a couple of nights. 1st and 10. Out of the time, out of the 34. Holding. It should have been. It will be. And loose ball is picked up. It's incomplete anyway. But Tony Hills, if I can see it, they can see it.
Yeah, you were right on it.
Holding. Offense number 76. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Well, that was the story in the first couple of games. Too many penalties, and especially in the first game.
This is Teron Armstead's replacement matched up against James Harrison. That's a man who knows how to rush the passer. You can see Tony Hill's hands get a little wide, and then once Harrison gets an edge, he knows what to do to put pressure on a quarterback and put the tackles in a rough spot.
Former player of the year on the defensive side, James Harrison. 38 and still playing at a very high level. Spiller's in the backfield. It'll be 1st and 20 from the 44, Pittsburgh. Spiller making a miss. Not that time, though. And it was James Harrison, by the way. Harrison, I'll tell you something. What a motor.
30 what? 38?
38 years old.
Well,
and they've got him behind Jones, the outside backer, but they're still waiting for Jones to show up. Sorry, that Georgia Bulldog, a former first-round pick in 2013, has not exactly blown them away.
Easy, Joel.
All right, just thought you'd dog you. It's 2nd and 20. Underneath in the dirt. And another flag on the play. Comes from deep at the secondary now, but it's defensive holding. It's an automatic first down. Illegal use of hands maybe out of the defensive backfield. That would be a gift.
That's what Michael Thomas is calling for behind Jerome Boger.
Didn't you share a plane ride with him?
Holding. Defense number 22. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
He's one of the best. So that's Gay matched up with Thomas right here. Let's see, you got 5 yards. Calling a tight game here tonight.
He held it. I mean,
oh, sure.
Contact, yes. Inside 5 yards. The hold, though.
Hold.
Automatic first down at the 41. Saints trying to get on the board. The screen is set up. Cadet makes a miss. Cadet's on a roll. And out of bounds inside the 25 of the first down. Spiller gets the break. Cadet comes in. And we haven't even talked about that battle in the backfield because you keep four basically. Ingram, Spiller there. So who's the other two going to be? Is it going to be Cadet? What about Hightower? Marcus Murphy. Lasco looks pretty good too.
He was down on special teams causing a fair catch early on, but this is what the Saints do really well. Teams try to rush the passer, get after the passer. It creates a space, and they take advantage with the screen game.
On the misdirection, Mark Ingram.
That's a great run for the new daddy. He and his fiancée. Yesterday, Mila Grace was born, his second daughter.
The entire running back core has come out with something to prove. Makes two misses in the backfield, keeps his balance. If one thing that Mark Ingram does really well, he plays with such amazing balance. That first tackle usually doesn't bring him down. He's able to just keep motoring forward.
Spiller inside give, big hole left side, and he's got a first down. And now that play, the previous play, does that set up Drew Brees for the waggle action when he gives it off to Ingram? He goes one way, Ingram's going the other way. Then it sets it up for a drag play coming from the tight end, maybe from the left side to the right side.
That's why it's so important to have a run game.
Right.
It sets up so much more of your offense. It puts the defense on their heels instead of just having to prevent one thing is just the pass game.
Let's see if Michael Thomas is a target. He's over to the far side, top of your screen. Inside it's Cooks. First down outside of the 13. Underneath, and well timed by Gay. He arrived at the same time. He went to the tight end, Kobe Fleener.
Yeah, I think that might be Josh Hill. They lined him up.
Yes, it is Hill.
They extend the tight end usually that's where the X receiver lines up. He's one-on-one with a quarterback. You have to like that matchup. A bigger body, run that inside slant route, let him use his frame, protect the ball, and just wasn't able to execute it for a big play like that.
But then you got to get your hands way out there. Breeze on second down, little dump off for Spiller. Screen doesn't work, and Spiller trying to avoid a loss is still going to lose about 3 yards. So it's back outside of the 17. It's a good pursuit, team speed by the Steelers. About 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Well, the Steelers up by 14. So this is the number. And can they get it done? And here's the red zone so far over the first 2+ games. Settled for 3 last week. All 3 of those, I'm talking about field goals, came in last week's game. Now on 3rd and 13. Pocket, protection, back of the end zone. Snead can't hang on. He does hang on. Willie Snead. Touchdown Saints.
He caught that ball twice.
Well, 17 there. Joel, earlier he had the second biggest play, or not the biggest play of the preseason. He's had 3 catches on this drive, and that helps that red zone efficiency for sure.
Well, last week he was in street clothes. He got the week off, but fights through a little bit of a pull right there. Safety comes over, takes a shot, never loses concentration, keeps his eye on the ball through that big shot that he takes from Mitchell to pull the ball down. Unbelievable concentration by Willie Snead to come away with a much-needed touchdown for this offense.
Great job by our camera crew. Wow, that was a great look at a fantastic play.
And that sums up why Willie Snead made the team last year.
He made play after play in the preseason. You couldn't get rid of him. Now he's become a mainstay.
Connor Barthen in the battle with Kai Forbath for the extra point from 33 yards away. And it's a 7-point ball game. So the offense started, don't forget, back at their 22. Some big pass plays by Drew Brees and a great grab by Willie Snead to finish it off. Snead had 3 catches for 47 yards on that drive. The last for 17. Sensational concentration.
I think that's what separates this from just an average play. Drew puts it in a spot in between 3 defenders. Willie Snead takes a shot and still comes down with it.
He took 2 shots and his eyes never left the football on the play.
So 12 for 78. He took 5.5 minutes to get into the end zone. Short one by Forbat is going to be taken by Fitzgerald Toussaint on the run. And he'll just get it across the 20, and that's why they want those short kicks and the high hangers. Well, don't forget tomorrow. You don't want to miss out because it's going to be a really good year for the Pels. Tomorrow at the Smoothie King Center, first chance to lock in the best seat locations for the 16-17 Pelican season. Ticket plans start as low as $199. Lower bowl options still available. Call 504-525-HOOP for all the details, but don't forget tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That is Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Come on over and join us tomorrow at the Smoothie King Center. It is a very deep backcourt, the best the Pels have had in a lot of years, and we'll get back to that in just a moment. Landry Jones, the former Oklahoma Sooner, stays in at quarterback. He's got D'Angelo Williams on a play fake. Middle of the field, going back to Williams, and they tracked him well, didn't they? Staying at home on that side of the field, it was Ken Crawley on the other side, and he did stay at home on that play. Back to the Pelicans, though, and I'm glad Crawley made the play. We'll get into him. Pelicans add Ejuan Moore, add Langston Galloway, a Baton Rouge guy, Buddy Hield. Their backcourt is deep with Drew Holiday, Tim Frazier coming back again, Anthony Davis, a generational talent. So hopefully we'll see you at the Smoothie King Center tomorrow. Take a look. See if it works for you from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It'll be second and long. Again, middle of the field. Go to the tight end, David Johnson. It's about 6. 8th year out of Arkansas State. Guy that spent the last couple of years with San Diego. Got a good pop. John Jenkins bottom of the pile there. So big third down coming up.
It is. Daniel Ellerby on that play right there. He's one of those linebackers that if he can stay healthy, he is a difference maker for this defense. And I'm not sure, Joel, if you own stock in the Pelicans, but as much as you push them, I want to buy some.
You're going to be there next season with us.
I'm excited about it.
You promised me.
Fired up for some Pelicans.
3rd and 5. The blitz is on. It's batted back into the face of Landry Jones. Pressure pays off. Extra rusher. And the Saints will get it back on a 3 and out.
Dennis Allen dials up pressure and 3rd down. The pocket closes in. You can see Birds coming off the edge. Laurinaitis in a delay. Watch him right there. Gets his arm up in a passing lane. This defense gets off the field from a 3rd down situation. Big play.
Well, Guachin's a legit 6'5", 6'6". Yeah. That's a big guy to throw through. Jordan Berry punts it away. It'll be Tommy Lee Lewis, and nothing doing. Good job by Berry to put it to the sideline. So the Saints will have it when we come back in a 7-point deficit. Good stand, though, by the D. Tonight's Saints game brought to you in part by Visit Baton Rouge. And by Rouse's, the best chefs and cooks. Shop at Rouse's. Welcome back to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome on a magnificent night in the Big Easy. Drew Brees done. He's completed that long one, and I'm talking about the drive. And it was a short pass for the touchdown and a great grab. But Drew Brees done. 9 for 12 for 78 yards. And manipulated the pocket efficiently because he was under heat. There was pressure. Luke McCown has taken over. Nothing doing in the ground game. Maybe a yard. So the tablets. Things haven't changed at all in the NFL.
Used to get the one still.
I love when they'd run out with those black and white photos. Oh. Here, coach.
Yep. And now live video for the first time allowed on the sidelines.
It's not just for kids. We got more apps.
We continue with this episode of the Jetsons as McCown looks at a 2nd and 9. Ingram underneath, wide open. Michael Thomas first down across the 40. Like the guy, he's not been targeted all that much over the last couple. First game made some spectacular plays. Well, Mike Mitchell, the safety, came over.
Well, McCown has time to find the open receiver, something that a luxury that wasn't extended to him last game or very often in week 1. So able to find Thomas across the middle.
Give it off. That's Mark Ingram. Short game up to the 45, game of a little over 2 yards. Chaser put him down. But Michael Thomas, big target. I can't wait to see Drew Brees regularly with this young man, because as far as I'm concerned, I've already got him in the starting lineup at wide receiver.
I do too. He's going to be asked to do a lot early. Sean Payton said earlier in the week, look, if I played fantasy football, I'd have him on my team. If that's not an indication of how many touches he's going to get in this offense, I don't know what is.
It's 2nd and 8. Out of the gun. McCown on the long throw and a short one to Cooks. Good grab. Cooks puts on the brakes with the first down to the 45. So while we talk about some of their guys offensively, like Roethlisberger going out, this is still against, for the most part, their first team defensive unit for the Pittsburgh Steelers on the field.
This is how the Saints play offense. You spread the ball around. You find Willie Snead for a touchdown. You found Cooks on a little out route. You find Michael Thomas across the middle. Fleener earlier that was called back with a penalty. It's what they do.
Josh Hill, the motion man. They bracket it over to the backside for Ingram. And he bounces out of bounds with a good gain on first down. So let's face it, McCown was the leading rusher last week, and that was on scrambles because of the pressure. This week, the ground game, and especially when they're going over to Pete's side, has been fairly impressive.
It needed to improve.
It could only get better, right?
Yes, and it has, which is encouraging.
Right.
And you know, you lose Armstead early in the game. A lot of the runs have been to the right side behind Streif and Pete.
Gain of a little more than 3 on 2nd down. Spiller's in the backfield, and McCown in trouble, going deep for Fleener. He's got it and loses it. Couldn't hang on, and it was a well-thrown ball.
You'll have to see where this hand comes in. That was a high grab on Fleener close to the neckline, but McCown gets pressure right here. You see that's a cornerback blitz. He evades it to the left.
Ooh, right around the helmet and the face mask.
And you see Davis, that's a high arm. I'm surprised they didn't call that. Usually you protect what could be considered a defenseless receiver right here with a hand to the face.
But the new rule extends it now to the nameplate as well. You didn't need the new rule on that play.
3rd down, McCown with a gun and wide of the intended target as he was going for Fleener once again. So on 3rd and long, a punting situation, or will they go for it at the 42? Tonight's scoreboard all brought to you by Rouse's. The best chefs and cooks, they shop at Rouse's. So with 5 minutes left in the half, you can afford to take a penalty. And I'm talking about a 5-yard mark-off. You're looking for an offside, potentially 2, to make it a 4th and short. Let's see what the Saints decide to do. They'll go for it. McCown pressure from behind. Will they get there? No. On the little dump off to Cadet. So the Steelers hold on 4th and 7. Saints get about 4. Chaser and Mike Mitchell, the free safety, collaborating to stop them on 4th down. Good drive. It stalls though after it started back at the Saints 19. Got a tough break for Fleener and the offensive unit with a grab around the face mask.
Coach Payton's still fired up about it. He doesn't agree with the call. He felt like the hand was high, didn't get the break.
Now Michael Thomas talking it over with the guy that he's going to see a lot of, and that's Drew Brees, and they need to be on the same page.
That's a connection that Saints fans are very hopeful will be a long-lasting one. Playmaker, you no longer have Colston on the edge, so who's the guy that you can go to in addition to Cooks and Snead?
Landry Jones stays in there at quarterback for Pittsburgh. They got Williams as the single. Bunch it on the right side, the wide side of the field. Too much time for Williams. The decision gets him 2 out to the 41. And let's see what they do. Late in the first half in a 7-point game. So Roethlisberger super impressive when he was in there. In the first 2 drives, he got it a 14-play, 74-yard drive, and then a 4-play, 79-yard drive. He's done for the night. Basically a cup of coffee for Roethlisberger and over to the sideline. So 2 series and out, and he was super efficient. Le'Veon Bell back into the backfield, and he'll bend into the boundary, close to first down yardage. Fourth-year running back out of Michigan State, Pro Bowler 2 years ago. But he had an injury to the right knee that had set him down for the final 10 games of the season last year. But boy, he can turn the corner, can he?
He was a top 5 rusher in the NFL in those first 8 games, and he played 6.
It'll be 3rd and short. Interesting formation. Bell is the single. Man, they're going to throw for it. Ton of time for Jones and a wide open tight end. It's Grimble, former USC Trojan who was on their practice squad last year. Xavier Grimble.
This is symptomatic of last year's problem with the defensive secondary. They have to have some help up front. There's no pressure here. He's a statue waiting to throw this ball. This isn't on the secondary. That's the front of the Saints defense struggling on that play.
And we talked about the lack of sacks. Just even the hurries that are required. Landry Jones, a lot of time. 3 minutes and counting left in the half. That time a little heat, but he sidestepped it. Vantage Bell underneath for about 4. Make it 3. Inside the 27.
How about Ellerby, an open field situation here? That play goes nowhere solely because of him.
Tap was held up a little bit. Good pressure, though, to force the quarterback to go underneath. He couldn't go through his progressions.
A little up and under move on the left tackle from Tap. Provide some pressure. He wanted a holding call, didn't get it.
And it was a legit complaint. 2nd and 7. Jones checking off at the line. Williams. He's swallowed in the middle of the field. Inside the 26. Dropped down by McCarl. Safety coming up. And is that going to take us to the 2-minute warning?
Tell you what jumps out at me this game is Ellerby. I mean, he showed up in the pass game. 30 seconds.
And he didn't look poor. I mean, his play was pretty solid earlier. Etabali impressed us in the first game, and I thought Ellerby had a good game as well, first and second. So hopefully that'll continue. But we talk about pressure and mixing things up. That was a timeout for the Saints. The clock manager himself looking to extend the half. Online registration right now for the Saints kickoff run. It's presented by Chevron. It's now open at Saints5K.com. It's the 5th annual 5K race. It's going to take place on Saturday, September 10th, day before the opener with the Raiders. Real good experience for everybody. It begins in Champion Square, ends with fans sprinting through the Saints team tunnel. So you're going to finish on the 50-yard line right here at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. So register and be a part of it the day before on the 5K. Now on 3rd down. Heat forces him up, and a good throw. Landry Jones, and he's got a good arm. Saw him a ton, had him a ton when he's playing for the Oklahoma Sooners. Bob Stoops, as he's got it to Bell down to the 18.
He needs to feel good about something. He threw 4 interceptions his last time out in a half.
It's like a pitcher. He gives up with a lot of dingers and is gone early in a game. So Willie Snead, bright spot for the Saints, but it's still a 7-point Pittsburgh lead. Well, first cut down for Aaron Glenn and Sean Payton and the defensive backs, and they're the primary spotlight right now for hopefully an improving defense. First cut down is this coming Tuesday.
Well, you got a youth movement. They're going to have some growing pains. I think when you look at 246 passing yards in the first half of this game, you can see some of that. But you're faced against Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown. These guys know what they're doing, and there's going to be some groaning as you get through this process. I think for AG, one of the biggest moves has already been made. You've moved on from Keenan Lewis, and now it's more about developing this next crop of defensive backs and getting them ready to play as quick as possible.
So the Saints used a timeout, don't forget. Right before the 2-minute warning. Landry Jones on first down for the 18, and Hayward Bay. I don't know if you're going to dinner with him after that attempt. Man.
There'll be dishes on the floor. That's only the 7th miss out of 28 attempts for the Steelers in the first half.
And
Who, by the way,
catch.
yes, who, by the way, were the #1 scoring team in the NFL last year at the end of halves. Number one, 65 times they scored in the final 2 minutes of the first half alone.
Well, their defense set them up here for a short field. When they stopped the Saints on 4th down at the 42 of Pittsburgh. Jones looks one way, comes back the other way. Van Williams will take it inside the 15 down to the 14. So it started back at the Pittsburgh 39. And Saints are going to use a timeout here. So they've got one timeout remaining. With a minute 51 to play in the half. So I like it actually because you want it, even on the sideline, game management in utilizing your timeouts and killing the clock so you can get another good possession out of it. Regardless of what happens on this, you want to stop, you want to force it into a field goal attempt, obviously, but still, that's what you want to do and give your offense the opportunity. Steelers, though, very impressive. First drive, it ended on a 5-yard touchdown pass to the tight end, Jesse James. And then a long one. Not a throw, but a run. 57 yards to Antonio Brown, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. So those are the first 2 scores of the game belonging to Pittsburgh. Willie Snead, a 17-yarder for the Saints. And now a 3rd down for Landry Jones. Underneath, that was a pick. And Le'Veon Bell, he's got a first down. It'll move the chains, but that looked like before the ball was in the air, didn't it?
He's just running, Joe. I just happened to be running right into
Dalvin Bro.
Look, he turned his eyes. That's how you teach a wide receiver to run a pick route. So Ellerby's matched up. They're in man coverage, and to prevent Ellerby from making a play on the ball, what you do is you have your wide receiver turn and face the quarterback, but you're running right in the passing lane so that you can't get the defenders up.
Steelers
so
now,
you don't call it a pick route.
Yeah, Steelers now 6 of 8, by the way, on their 3rd down tries. 1st and goal from the 8. Ton of time again for Jones. And he'll just throw it away. Smart play. And as Sean mentioned, all those picks last week. Live to see another play. So it'll be 2nd and goal. Pressure came. Darryl Tapp once again. He's showing up on film, isn't he?
He is. He's made a couple plays. I think John Jenkins is the one who collapses the pocket right here and forces Landry to flush out into Tapp's lane. But Jenkins is a guy that towards the end of last season was really one of the more reliable interior players. You haven't seen much of him because of a deep bone bruise that's prevented him from taking the field so far.
2nd and goal from the 8. Anthony came out. Devontae Harris came in. The extra D back. Wide open. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. It's taken in by the wide receiver on that side, Sammy Coates, the young man from Auburn. 8 yards. And way too wide open.
Well, they have a bunch route. Looks like Vaccaro's matched up on Coates one-on-one. That out route, it's tough for the safety to get across. You have to beat it over the top. He's got his eyes inside, and as he breaks out, well-timed pass by Landry, but there's 6 yards of separation right there.
Chris Boswell for the point after. Man, a really strong first half of the Steelers offense continues with 58 seconds left. And as we look back on a memorable season for the Saints as we get ready for the 50th anniversary campaign. From 1992, nobody can say they sent 4 Pro Bowl linebackers. Same game, same year, and, well, Dome Patrol was pretty strong, wasn't it?
Talk about some beasts. You look across that. That's amazing. You get those 4 in the same lineup. There's a reason why they called them the Dome Patrol. They were special.
What a group.
I'm sure there's a lot of kids, well, they're probably adults at this point, grew up with the Dome Patrol poster on their wall. There was probably nothing better than that. That thing was sweet.
There is that Dome Patrol poster. What, is that not one of the coolest football posters ever produced? Ricky Jackson, of course. Remember the Saints Ring of Honor here now? And the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. That's straight up 1992, isn't it?
How about the guys in the booth being able to pull that up so quick? Well done.
Spiller is about 5 yards into the end zone.
When the poster's hanging in the truck, Stitch, it's easy just to turn the camera on.
So the Saints with 1 timeout remaining. What can they do offensively now? Can Spiller give him some field position too? No. He's down to the 15. Well, when you come to the Saints games this year, make sure you stop by Gate E. Saints have dedicated an area. It pays tribute to all the individual high school football programs across the state of Louisiana. They have collected well over 200 helmets all across the state. And it's great because, let's face it, everybody wants to get to the Dome at the end of the high school football season because this is where the state championship games are played. So you're going to appreciate seeing all the schools represented right here at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. That is by Gate E. Now you don't want to gamble. You're at your 15, down by 14. Screen pass is safe. Cadet's got it. And then can you get to the sideline? It's taken away, and it belongs. No, it's held on to by Cadet. He slides down. Steelers were celebrating like it was ripped away from behind. And it looked like it was taken away, but it was already down.
The ball came out. It depends on when the ball comes out, but you see Unger and Pete out there. That's a big man. Pete's fighting.
It is
Whoa,
out.
Ball is out, so it depends on whether or not the Steelers
possessed it before he rolled out of bounds. Cockrell.
Was he out of bounds? Tell you what, Saints is going to try to run a play real quick, so you can't challenge it. But we're inside the 2-minute warning, so
everything. It's reviewed.
The previous play is under review.
No surprise there.
Yeah, you run into the right side. Bad things happen with the ball on your blind side, your left side, and it's not protected there as well.
A lot of attention has been made about the boys up front, the men who are blocking, but really ball security has been an issue throughout this entire preseason. This is another time where you've got a positive play with the ball in and up on the turf at the end of it. It's not good. You can't turn the ball over. You got to protect it.
It's Lawrence Timmons. They've still got the first team defense out there. And does he possess it before he hits the chalk?
Tell you what Saints fans are hoping for.
It is definitely out. If it goes to Pittsburgh, they've got it at the Saints about 35-yard line.
It's going to be tough to say that he had full possession of the football before he makes contact with the boundary.
I like it, Sean. I'm with you, buddy.
It's interesting you talk about ball
That's
security.
a totally unbiased eye.
Yeah, of course. Hey, back to the ball security issue. This all started with that Mark Ingram fumble on the opening drive of New England. This is two running backs now that have had the ball knocked out.
And that was in the red zone, the Ingram fumble that you're talking about.
Yep.
Let's see it from another angle. Ball's definitely out. Does he have full possession before he goes out of bounds?
Wow. Yeah, I think that, Joe, I'd like to rescind my earlier statement.
Nope, you can't do it. You've already been on record as saying that it's a Saints ball. The Steelers' offense is taking the field.
Their offensive line's coming out like they already heard.
Yeah,
we're the last one.
We're
the last ones in on this. So we talked about the turnovers and the penalties over the first two games. And does it go from bad to worse? There's a safe play, but he didn't put the ball away. So in the gamble.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The ball was fumbled by the runner, but it was recovered by a defender out of bounds. By rule, the ball goes back to the spot of the fumble.
Yeah.
First down at the 29-yard line.
Cockrell hit the chalk as he was trying to possess it.
Just like I said. I mean, come on. Why did I even second guess myself like that?
Nope, you went against it. Can't be right in this one, Sean.
Juan Kincaid, Curtis Lofton, Sean Pazan. The guys will join us at the break. So now Luke McCown, who ran the football well last week because he didn't have a lot of time in the pocket. They're not going to place it. Saying he was down at the 29 with the first down. See if the Saints can get some points out of it. Still a timeout on the board. Speaking of problems, McCown gets rid of it as he's in the grasp. It's Stephon Tuitt, and there's going to be a flag as well.
Didn't he just say nice things about Andrews Pete?
Sure did.
Stinch?
Yep.
Yeah.
There'll be more to come.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 7. The quarterback was out of the pocket, but did not get the pass beyond the line of scrimmage. That by rule, this foul also occurs a 10-second runoff. Please reset the game clock to 18 seconds.
Well, now this deep in your own territory, you might want to think about a run. Get to the locker room for a regroup. But let's see what Sean Payton decides to do.
38 seconds. New Orleans has elected to charge a timeout in lieu of having the 10-second runoff.
I like it.
This is New Orleans' third and final timeout of the half.
There's one thing about Sean Payton. He manages the game like it's a playoff game. Every game's the same to him. So we talked about the breakdown on the offensive line, John.
Well, you see Tuitt's on the right side. It's a little bit of an end tackle game right there. The end penetrates underneath. The tackle wraps around. As McCown's flushed out of the pocket, Tuitt's right there to apply the pressure that creates the situation where there's an intentional grounding call. But I don't pin that on Pete right there. That's just an end tackle game with the quarterback flushed.
It's deflected at the line and falls incomplete. So it's going to bring up third down and long. Pittsburgh's last drive, don't forget, 11 plays, 61 yards, just about 4 minutes off the clock. On the touchdown pass to Sammy Coates to put him up by 14. It's a 3rd and 21. Cadet falling down. And now does Pittsburgh.
Got 2 timeouts to use.
Do they use one? And they will. They'll stop the clock. Don't blame them because you'd like to look and get your punt return team out there and some footage on them.
And a shot to move the ball down the field and try to get a field goal. This is situational play out here. Both sides are trying to reenact as much as possible what you do in a real playoff game, regular season game situation. So with 20 seconds left, you got 2 timeouts. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, use the timeout, try to get the ball returned, see if you can get a field goal out of the deal.
And we've got a matchup of 2 coaches that are both Super Bowl winners. Don't forget it. We're watching 2 coaches at the very highest of levels. We're spoiled by Sean Payton here. And don't forget, Mike Tomlin, one of only 6 in NFL history to have 90 or more wins over his first 9 seasons in the league. Morstead sends out a beauty. He took the driver out this time. Bringing it back and trying to make a miss. It is the wide receiver Eli Rogers who takes it across the 20. Yeah, they'll put him down right about the 27. So 8 seconds left after a 61-yard punt by the guy that is among the elite in his position, Thomas Morstead.
And it totally changed the situation that you're looking at. With 20 seconds left, you get a good punt return. You might get one little dinker pass and be in a field goal situation. When you punt the ball like Morstead did.
Now all of a sudden, take a snap, go to the locker room. As opposed to field position because you had a return. Now there is a flag out of the secondary.
Saints were late getting their 11 on the field, Joe.
There is no foul on the play.
Thank you. It's preseason. Go to the locker room.
Let's go.
Yep.
So
They're getting their reps in
regroup,
too.
and especially for the secondary, as the Saints are down by 14. Some pluses, though, we'll get into, and I know the guys in the studio will, with the ground game and the first-team offense led by Drew Brees, who was 9 for 12. Willie Snead with the grab. Saints, though, trail 21-7 as we continue with the Crescent City tonight. At the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, it's halftime with the Steelers on top of the Saints by 14. 21-7. Welcome back once again. Joel Myers, Super Bowl champion John Stinchcomb, Sean Kelly alongside. Had a tough start, let's face it. Now the first team offense, we went to the ground game. That was the plus. But as far as the young secondary, that was a growing experience in front of us at 296 yards for the Steelers.
Joel, they went after P.J. Williams early. We thought they'd test the young guys. Ken Crawley, too. Nearly 300 yards of total offense. Pittsburgh hit 10 different receivers, 24-32. But Stinch, back to what Joel said about the Saints offense, tested as Crawley and Williams and the young secondary was. I thought we saw at least some improvement, at least, in moving the football on the ground for the Saints' first team offense.
Yep, you lost Teron Armstead early. That's a concern. But the way C.J. Spiller's taken the field, I mean, you got to be encouraged by that. Mark Ingram's run hard. Cadet was doing great until he puts the ball on the turf. So these running backs they're trying to make their mark. They're trying to make the run game no longer a liability but an asset. But you put the ball on the ground once, that's going to set you back. They're looking for that balanced attack.
5-yard average, by the way, for Spiller in the first half on his 4 carries. Let's head downstairs, check in with John DeShazer. JD.
Joel, speaking of that baptism by the secondary, Delvin Rowe did not play after he forced that turnover. That contributed some to that baptism. That left Ken Crawley out at the right cornerback, P.J. Williams at the left cornerback. And that's pretty much the way these guys are going to have to see things if Delvin Rowe is on the field. They're going to be picked on, so they're going to have to respond to the challenge. So far tonight, they're having some difficult times with it. And Delvin Rowe went to the sideline after forcing that turnover to give them a little bit more snaps, get them ready for the regular season to see exactly what they're going to be seeing in the regular season.
Yeah, there's no question. Roethlisberger's, let's face it, one of the most experienced and one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He was 12 of 17 for 148 with a couple of touchdown tosses. Landry Jones, though, 12 for 15, 116 yards. And we talk about the lack of pressures. We get the second half underway as it's kicked away by Boswell. Marcus Murphy from the goal line. The former Missouri Tiger looks for Lane, goes to the 20. And that'll be it just across the 20-yard line. So Murphy held on to it. As you look at the total numbers offensively in the first and second quarters, time of possession fairly even. And the Saints got a break as the ball was scraped away from Cadet. So on the plus side, Drew Brees, there's not going to be an issue there. 9 of 12 passing. And to me, Armstead goes out, and so does Brees, and I think it's a good decision by Sean Payton. Garrett Grayson starts the second half at quarterback. And on first down, flares it out. It's Harris. R.J. Harris on the reception past the 25 up to the 26-yard line. So plus right there. 5 yards on the first snap of the second half.
Next wave of wide receivers coming in here. R.J. Harrison included in this group now is Brandon Coleman. Played better last week against Houston. We'll have to have a big night again here tonight in the second half.
He's the single on the bottom of your screen as they shift the tight end. And run to the tight end side. And a good run at that. So that's Hightower across the 31-32. Give him a first down to the 33. And these are guys that now it's crunch time. And I'm not talking about Tuesday's cut down to 75, but down to 53 later. And who is going to be the 4 running backs?
Well, Hightower, we haven't seen much of him this preseason, and his first touch tonight, he does something with it. Gets a first down, ran hard right there. So he's trying to make his mark, trying to get that spot and fill out that role.
On a first down outside of the 32. Pressure. Good night. That didn't take long. Shooting through, it was Hargrave. Javon Hargrave, the rookie out of South Carolina State, their 3rd-round pick of the Steelers.
Well, he's matched up with Jack Allen at the center position. Gets him turned. Not much you can do with Grayson right there. Probably a good choice just to take the sack. Try not to do anything, force anything, and create a turnover.
It's a loss back to the 25. A loss close to 8. Hightower, middle of the field. And he gets close to the 8 back. It's a run of 7 for Jim Hightower. So a run play on a pass situation. And we talked about it. At least 4 a carry, and it's been that significant improvement, at least on the ground.
And they've helped themselves with this drive right here. Hightower with 10 yards.
There's probably another 8 right there. So at least the run game is starting to complement what they're trying to do as an offense.
Lasco comes into the game for the first time. Their 7th round pick. Shifts out of the backfield. And on the little flare, did he get to the marker? No. Tripped up. And a good play out on the edge by Vince Williams. So he makes the play in the open field for Pittsburgh. 4th year out of Florida State. He's an energy guy and almost made it work on a low throw.
Well, Lasco's a guy that's trying to maximize every opportunity he's got. He showed up in special teams. He's now lined up as a gunner on punt. And on a little flare route, he's trying to make a first down, make everything he can happen.
Rookie DeMarcus Ayers waits for the wobbler from Morstead and has a little room. Ayers, the rookie 7th round pick out of Houston, is dropped. Good punt coverage once again. And that's encouragement. We talk about specials.
Daniel Lasco again, first touch. Each week he's done something special on special teams.
Now, we were just talking before we broke away about Daniel Lasco, and you're looking at the draft choices for the Saints in the 7th rounder. He looks like he's already established himself as a make on this roster because of his special teams play.
I agree. And John DeShazier said something very significant in practice the other day. He said, how many times you see a guy come in, late round guy like this, and they say, oh, I'm into special teams. I love special teams. And then actually mean it. That guy absolutely lives for special teams.
And he's showing up on tape on specials. Running back Darrell Richardson out of Abilene Christian. 7th round pick. The Rams back in 2012. Shut down. Mike Monty was over there.
Watcham's lined up at the end of the line of scrimmage. It's a little power play. He sets the edge. Allows Monty to come over the top for a tackle for loss.
Coach LeCompte up at Mandeville High School loves to see that. Michael Monty. North Shore guy.
Just about 4 minutes into the third. First possession of the second half for the Steelers. On second after the loss and a flag. That was an easy one. And it was Watcham who was tackled in the backfield for the holding call.
Holding. Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Brian Harris, 9 years out of Notre Dame.
That's Watcham showing up again. Now he's lined up on the other side of your field right here at the top of the screen. Just explodes right into the tackle, drives it back into the play. Gets a holding call, but really sets the edge. 2 back-to-back plays for Watcham.
We'll talk about him in just a moment after this play, Bill.
It's 2nd and long. You're going to get back into the game. Field position's important. Try to set it on a little bubble to the wide receiver. Man, DeMarcus Ayers made the first miss. Monty got over there. Stupar as well. Watcham's been involved, so looking good for the second-team linebackers.
Help me here, Stitch, because one of the things that Watcham struggled with early in camp was, as that edge rusher, he was standing straight up, and yet on the previous play and in there, he stays low enough to explode in the backfield. Look, as an offensive lineman, when you step out and see a guy stand straight up, isn't that easier to block?
Well, you lose all your power, and for him, he's a converted wide receiver, so you can't always just run around guys. That's not going to work at defensive end. You've seen 3 plays. He's in the passing lane right there. Change the timing up so that your quarterback pumps the ball instead of firing it out for a wide receiver screen right there. So 3 plays where Watcham shows up. That's what he needs to do. Now, at the end of the second quarter, he disappeared a little bit. You're hoping to get a pass rush, and he wasn't providing much pressure. So this is what you want to see when he's creating plays, and it's for a guy like this, they're going to come in spurts. It's going to hit where you get 3 in a row, and then you might see him disappear for a little while, and you're trying to reduce the amount of times where he disappears.
Adam always won that starting job of that, what they call now the open end. But if Watcham can continue to improve and show what he's done here, like you said, over these last several plays, it's a quality backup on your depth chart. He looks the part. There's no doubt about that. When he walks on the field, you go, yeah, that'll work.
Former basketball player out of Oregon State. Young man from Los Angeles. And now, unfortunately, Ayers is okay. Was shaken up on the sideline as he walked off to their bench on his own. And the delay for Richardson. He motors it up the middle. He'll be well short of the first down, but breathing room for the punter at the same time. On the gain, out to the 24. Our scoreboard all brought to you by Rouse's. The best chefs and cooks, they shop at Rouse's. So on the first possession of the second half, Pittsburgh from their own 25, a 3 and out with a punt. Tommy Lee Lewis is going to be back deep for the first time tonight at the 25. Returnable on the run with some Mo, but on the sideline too, and a good job. He skates out of bounds past the 35 and about the 37. Really good field position for the Saints when we come back. Still down by 14. We talked about it in the first half. The NFL joined the Saints in their efforts to aid victims of the recent floods here in Louisiana. And through the NFL, the Saints, and the American Red Cross, well, fans now have the ability to donate in every preseason game through the Text to Give program. It began last night. It's going to run through the weekend. So call the number on the screen. Help the victims of this awful situation here in Louisiana. Together, you, the NFL, and the Saints can make a difference to those who need it right now. And do what you can to help. It's appreciated, believe me. Joel Myers, Sean Kelly, John Stinchcomb, and John DeShazer down on the sideline. Ton of time, middle of the field, and not close to the intended target as they tried to get it out to Garrett Griffin, the rookie from the Air Force Academy. Garrett Grayson in his second series. If you joined us a little bit late tonight, there were pluses for the Saints offensively, and it starts with Drew Brees.
He looked crisp. You got the touchdown pass to Willie Snead at the back of the end zone. I think that was probably a major highlight. C.J. Spiller made a couple plays, but some things that you can feel positive about.
Good field position, and on a little waggle action. Making a miss. Good play. Manhurts, first down. Chris Manhurts out of Canisius. Used to be a really good basketball scorer. He's in his second year. He's on the practice squad last year, and he's got a Saints first down.
Play action pass right here. Fake the toss to Lasco, roll out. He has to pull up quick. And I like what you see here out of Manhurts. Nice hands, makes a guy miss. First down.
Tripped up his Hightower. Still manages to get back to the line of scrimmage, though. The 49. Good penetration, though. So we talked about Hightower and the other running backs just a few minutes ago. Cadet, Spiller, Ingram, and Spiller are there. We know that. So now between and Lasco, you would have to think is going to be one of the four. What he does and what he brings on specials. So is it between Hightower, Cadet, and Murphy for the fourth spot? It'll be interesting. 2nd and 10. Grayson underneath and a bullet. Coleman hangs on, and as he gang tackled, he takes it down to the 35, and that's really good to see him hanging on to the football in traffic.
Yeah, Coach Payton didn't mince words when he said that his camp so far has been pedestrian. That's not saying anything nice there. I'll tell you what, though. I think Coleman's done his best to try and respond to that call to action. And we've seen a bit of a progression now with Coleman, not only through practice, but now a play like that.
Settled in well. That little opening that was given. Drive started back at the Saints 37. Showing one way. Man, it looks like Lasco, and it is Lasco. He just runs hard. He runs low. We always talk about low man wins in football. He starts low, doesn't he?
He's built tough. Yeah, he runs hard. Like you said, it's coming right off the left tackle right here. You can see him. A couple of shifty steps and then lowers the boom right there. That's what Lasco brings to his table. He's not going to be super elusive, but is playing behind his pads. That's where he excels.
Yeah, he's a finesse guy, isn't he? 2nd and about 6. Good action. Grayson's got him wide open. Tommy Lee. Touchdown Saints. Tommy Lee Lewis.
Somebody on this football team said earlier this week that if Tommy Lee Lewis gets cut, there's going to be a mutiny. They love this guy. His teammates love him. And he keeps doing things to make the coaching staff hang on to him.
That's a pick-me-up for Garrett Grayson, too. They couldn't get it out last week because of the heat. Remember the wide open man in the end zone towards the corner just like that? But because of the pressure on McCown, he couldn't throw the football there. There was heat that time, but Grayson recognized it in time.
Left the pocket, found Tommy Lee Lewis. Probably wasn't able to get as much mustard on the ball as he wanted to, but there was so much of a cushion right there near Tommy Lee that he was still able to stretch the ball out and score a touchdown, which it looks like they're going to try to figure out, was he able to get in the end zone?
I hope they don't take it away from the kid.
Another rollout, play action pass. You see Tommy Lee adjust to the ball right there.
Can't take it away. There ought to be a law. We'll find out when we come back. And let's see what they decide. It looked to us the first time that it stood.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as called touchdown.
And it stands again. Tommy Lee Lewis. It's a good story. And Sean Payton's told it many times. One of his mentors, Bill Parcells, don't go to sleep on this kid. If you can get him, sign him.
Check him out.
And the Saints weren't the only team after him. Forbath in for the point after in his battle with Barth. His first kick of the night. And it's beauty. He already had a kickoff, and it was a boost that there was good kick coverage on. And that's something we ought to talk about a little bit later, too. The kick and punt coverage teams have been outstanding so far this evening once again. Saints down by 7.
This is Duron Grant circled, the cornerback right here. Play action pass. Watch his eyes as Grayson fakes the ball. Now he's trying to find him. Safety over the top help. There's no way he's going to get over there in time. That's what creates the space for Tommy Lee Lewis to find a little space to get in the end zone right there.
So the little guy makes him pay, as it's going to be kicked away by Connor Barth. We saw Forbath on the extra point. And let's see, they're going to try it again. And I'm talking about the short one with hang time. It's going to be Richardson bringing it back for about the 10. But as I talk about the good kick coverage, forget about it. There's a flag, though. And let's see, yes, it's going to be against the Steelers.
Well, that kick looks short. I wouldn't exactly look super high. Probably get
return. Holding. Receiving team number 37. 10-yard penalty. Pittsburgh keeps the ball. First down.
And that's a break because that hold was on the near side and the run was on the opposite side of the field. So it's kind of away from the play. So Pittsburgh's going to have it the second time in the second half, and they'll have it at the 21-yard line. Lasco keeps going after the pop, doesn't he? Trying to get involved and slows him down from behind.
53-man roster right now, mark it down, and actually we'll talk about this later, but I think they keep 5 running backs because of him.
Good chance, because he's not exactly going to be featured at that position. At least that won't be the plan. First and 10 for the 21. Good heat. Roman Harper after him, but wide open. It's taken in by Sammy Coates. What a throw by, and Landry Jones knew he was going to get it. Roman Harper was in his grill.
Roman Harper, where is he at his best? It's in the box. This is man-to-man coverage. Damian Swan, who's still trying to recover. He, coming off some injuries, just gets beat on a 9 round. It's just straight go, nothing but the gas. Luckily right there,
Von Bell.
Yeah.
you get Von Bell to come over and save a touchdown.
Second round pick, the rookie out of Ohio State.
Bell led the team with 7 solo tackles in Houston.
So that's a 58-yard pass, and not a bad throw by Landry Jones.
Blind.
I mean, he led him. He put his receiver in a position to succeed. We talk about that all the time, too. And especially with backs in the flat, guys, you don't want it your feet. You want it to be led. And you know that as an end, and I'm talking about a tackle, and out there blocking for a guy.
Yeah, he put it in stride. It was a good ball. Boy, anytime you've got a guy coming right down your throat, and you're still able to put that kind of air under the ball and give your receiver a chance to catch it in stride. Great job for Jones stepping in, but you look at the passing yards. as much praise as you've given, as we've given some of these young DBs, you're going to see some of those growing pains tonight. 300-plus passing yards.
I want to remind you they were third in the NFL in average passing yards per game last season.
It's all the way to the 22. After that first down snap from their own 21. Deep single is Daryl Richardson, running back out of Abilene Christian. And torpedoed right of the original line with a flag in this offensive backfield on a holding call.
Holding, offense number 85, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
That's on Grimble, the tight end.
And Watcham again is the one who created that penalty. Penetrated, forced the tight end back into the backfield, ceasing the play, couldn't get the edge, and then he was forced to hold him. So Watcham's really showing up in this third quarter.
Yeah. Anthony comes back into the game. We have not talked a lot in the preseason about Stephon Anthony because his role is definitely changing this year. So he comes in along with Mike Monty on a first and long, first and 20. At a timeout has been called by the Steelers. There's Stephon Anthony, the first-round pick out of Clemson last year, who was on the field, don't forget, for all those snaps last season, and performed very well, remember, for a guy that was brand new without any reps at this level. Now, we'd like to give you a chance. Don't forget to get away to a Saints home game. Sweet seats, accommodations. Our Final Play getaway contest is going on right now. You download the Final Play app and you enter. It's absolutely free, and so is the app. So it's available in the App Store. It's free. And search Final Play Saints. And we'll see you for dinner, 2 nights stay, and sweet seats here at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Get back to Anthony in just a moment. Guy that led all rookies in the NFL in stops last year. Dump off goes to a big back who takes a pop. There's Roosevelt Nix.
First Damian Swan and then Monty finished him off.
Monty fired up about it.
Yeah.
Nice little shot right there.
I like this trio at linebacker. You talked about Stephon Anthony. Joel, you know, he hadn't played strong side linebacker since high school. He was asked to be the middle linebacker last year, so now he's going to learn strong side at this level. And then Craig Robertson, who we need to talk about too, is now in there as the middle linebacker.
And the second unit linebackers may have had the most snaps so far in the preseason. They've been on the field a lot. Second and still long underneath. Boy, that's tough on your tight end. Grimble caught it. And Monty was all over him as soon as he grabbed the football.
Monty bringing the hammer here on a couple of plays.
I think the linebacking core is probably the biggest upgrade that you've seen of any position group for this Saints. Across the board, more speed, more recognition. LOB's healthier this year, so really just a group that has turned into a real strength.
It's a 3rd and 9, a little more than 4 minutes to play in the third. Little dump off on the screen to the tight end, flag. Stupar makes the stop. It'll be a first down if the play stands, but the linesman threw the flag. Illegal man downfield. The lineman got out early. Break again for the Saints. Yes, they'll accept. Thank you.
Ineligible player downfield. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. Replay, third down.
That's B.J. Finney, who was on the practice squad last year out of Kansas State. Linemen never leave early. You know that.
No, sir. That was the running back's fault. The quarterback for not throwing it to him earlier.
I love it. That's the protection plan.
That's
for
part of
all
it.
offensive linemen.
There's a brotherhood. It really was a timing issue. He got out on time. He counts to 3 Mississippi, and you go.
It's now 3rd down and long. You're going to be on Dancing with the Stars too if you keep this up. Dancing for linemen. 3rd about 15. Underneath, it's Richardson, and the open field tackle is made. A good job once again. Finnegan's over there.
Well, there's your veteran, Cortland Finnegan. He's lined up over the slot all series right now. and it comes up with a big third down stop. He's a guy, you talk about a guy with a lot of experience. You know, he's seen it all. So for a veteran like that, can he bring something to the table? Nickel or dime back they bring in to cover the slot.
Going to be a 40-yard field goal attempt for Chris Boswell. Only 3 misses for him last year, and he's not missing tonight either. So he gets the points on the board, making a 2-score game once again for the Steelers after the Saints scored on that long touchdown pass from Tommy Lee Lewis. Boswell converts. Pittsburgh by 10. Pocket, protection, back of the end zone. Snead can't hang on. He does hang on. Willie Snead. Touchdown Saints.
Joel Myers with your Verizon call of the game.
Willie Snead fooled us. Got away, got it back. We're not surprised, though. After 69 grabs and tough ones, Kip doesn't mind going over the middle. Now, Tommy Lee Lewis stays in the end zone.
How hard is it for him to take that knee? Oh, he wants to bring that out every time.
And we remind you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., 1 p.m. Come down to the Smoothie King Center. 504-525-HOOP for all the details, but want to see you there tomorrow. Anthony Davis, Drew Holiday, best backcourt in a lot of years for the Pels. With not only Buddy Hield 6th overall, but Ejuan Moore, Langston Galloway, a Baton Rouge guy, Tim Frazier is back. And then, don't forget about Solomon Hill, who was signed. Terrence Jones, a great free agent acquisition who won a championship in this building, in the Dome, with Anthony Davis in 2012. A lot of positives working with the Pels. So come on down and join us 10-1 tomorrow at the Smoothie King Center. The player in the flat, his Hightower, wastes no time, does he? I'll tell you something. After what, about 3 years off because of knee injuries, he looks fresh.
It's an amazing story. That comeback started last year. He has such a work ethic. I think that's the thing that sets Tim Hightower apart. Not that the others' work is hard, but what he had to overcome at the age he was, try and get back to the form that he showed in Arizona. It's just a fantastic story.
He got 8. And Marcus Murphy wanted it, but there's flags on a false start.
False start. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
You know what I liked was the sell job by Garrett Grayson. He looked downfield and then swung it in the flat, a little dart. And by selling it, it holds everybody up.
And put it in a position for him to catch it on the run. It's not, it wasn't a low ball, it was a well-placed pass.
Mark off of 5. Make it 2nd and 7. Move the pocket by design. Coleman took a pop. Hangs on, though, as he's dumped by Grant, who was burned for the touchdown, the young man we were talking about. But that's what's going to make a difference for Brandon Coleman. When he knows he's going to take a shot, hangs on.
Yeah, and Grayson didn't do him any favors there by throwing it that high with the defender right on his hip. I'll say this about Grayson, though. You hold your breath less when he comes to the line of scrimmage. He looks so much more poised here this preseason under center, or in the shotgun in this case.
3rd-round pick last year out of Colorado State, trying to make a miss, and the first down. Good run by Travaris Cadet. There's no question he is a very hard runner. He doesn't mind contact.
He had some good awareness right there, too. You knew where the sticks were, what you needed to get the first down. He puts his nose down and gets it. I tell you what's been good to see is being able to evaluate Grayson as he's making these passes on the move. They're moving the pocket around. They're not having it stationary. I'm not sure that's part of the evaluation process for him.
Good call. I like it. Changing the launch point of the quarterback. From the 35, little lateral action. Murphy making a miss. Looks like a loss. Instead, it's a gain of maybe a yard. But still looked like a loss of 3 or 4. He doesn't slip the tackle.
Murphy and Cadet. Is it one of the two? I think that's the biggest question out of this running back group. They're giving Murphy every chance to make this team. Like you said, Cadet loves the contact. Those guys are rotating back and forth now. This will be a fun thing to watch here as we go toward the 4th quarter.
Going to be 2nd and still close to 10. Cadet took over for Murphy, so they're shuttling those two back and forth. Grayson in trouble underneath Cadet and made the most of it. Grant got him, but he took it up to the 43, short of the first down by 3. So again, gain of about 7 on the dump off. And will they get into the snap before the end of the third?
Tonight you've seen the quarterbacks take what's given to them. They don't mind dumping it to the running backs. You've got guys on this roster that can make plays in space, from Spiller, Cadet, across the board. Now, can you get a playoff before the clock?
Final snap, Cadet dancing his way up the middle for the first down. Good awareness and vision by the veteran Cadet. That's a good way to end the third 15 minutes of play. So stay with us. Final 15 minutes of regulation. Seconds are out there, and Grayson has looked sharp. Start of the fourth quarter. Welcome back to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Joel Myers, John Stinchcomb, Sean Kelly, John DeShazer. And can the Saints come back? They were down early. Ben Roethlisberger, very impressive. But Ben Roethlisberger, as we get ready for Thursday night's game, the last preseason game, Baltimore's going to be right here at the Dome. What you said with Garrett Grayson just taking what they give you, that's exactly what Roethlisberger did on the first drive of the game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Manhurts, the tight end, in motion. First down, first snap of the fourth. Good pocket protection. And for Tommy Lewis, a jump ball, and he's not going to win a ton of those, is he?
No, but he was in front of the DB. I'm sure Grayson wants that ball back, because if he could lead him,
right.
He had a step or two, which is what you're looking for. He has to hold up, and like you say, that's not going to be where Tommy Lee excels. He's got a good vertical, but he needs a good vertical because he's short in stature. So,
well, yeah, but if he's coming this side, as you said, if he leads him,
that's right.
He's got the angle. Good call on that. But he had to stop and wait. Only the second miss for Garrett Grayson, who throws the dart. Lasco's got it. The ball is out as he took a real hit, helmet to helmet. And ball is out. Grant picks it up. It'll come back, though. Grant gets up, and now it'll be put down for good as he loses the handle. Football is down, out again. But I got to believe helmet to helmet as Lasco is out on the ground. It's going to be Saints football right there, and a little bit of a mark-off.
That's the first movement we've seen from him. He laid motionless all the way up until that camera went back to him.
Ooh. It was Vince Williams, helmet to helmet with him. That'll be the penalty.
That's a fine. That is what we're trying to eliminate from our game.
And now we just are concerned with young Daniel Lasco.
This is as scary as it gets in this game right here.
The rule on the field is a personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 98, leading with the crown of the helmet into the player. 15 yards from the dead ball spot. New Orleans keeps the ball. First down.
Yeah, and he launched into that motion to lead with the crown of his helmet. So we talk about the rules of the game. Helmet to helmet. And leading with the crown.
Nobody uses the word spearing anymore, but that's what this is.
Ooh. So Lasco took it from Williams. And it's not the first man, it's what's the second man in, 98, who gets him. It's not the linebacker. There it is. It's one thing to lead with your shoulder, but not the crown of your helmet. Time out on the field. Stay with us in New Orleans. Best news of the night so far. 7th round pick out of Cal. Daniel Lasco making it to the locker room on his own after taking that violent shot. Helmet to helmet. Saints will keep the football. And there's a lot of pluses working for some of the second teamers right now. And hopefully that'll continue in a 10-point game. And welcome back to New Orleans. And I bring it up because that young man is 10 of 12. And he is exactly what you said, taking what they give him. The underneath, whatever it might be. So Garrett Grayson, very impressive. By far his most impressive so far in the preseason. And that's big for the 3rd round pick. He got the touchdown to Tommy Lee Lewis. That was a 17-yarder. Runs Johnson in motion. And they torpedo the play. As Hightower has his legs taken out from under him. So it'll be second down. They marked it off. It's down to the 28-yard line after the personal foul marked off.
As you look back, you're just glad that Lasco was able to leave the field on his own power. That's a scary situation for any player, and when you can see him walk off, it makes you feel a lot better about it.
Absolutely. And now Austin Johnson. Good to see him out there because he's been hurt in the preseason. Tommy, he's got a first down. So he's bumped out by Washington on that side of the field, but that was nice space for Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee Lewis reminds me a lot of Willie Snead from last year, a guy that just continues to make plays week in and week out. A little out route right here, he finds a way to get a first down. Continues to make plays when he's given the opportunity.
Yeah, the fourth-round pick out of Ohio State in his fourth year. Gave him a lot of cushion. Jet sweep, no. Give up the middle, big run by Hightower. So the deception paid off. Kept him in place. Williams in on the stop, but a gain of 9.
Same action we saw earlier with Brandon Cooks. This time it's Tommy Lee Lewis around the top end, trying to hold that linebacker. Great space right there. You got a hat for a hat. Hightower finds that crease and hits it.
5 carries, 25 yards on the ground for Hightower with Johnson setting up at the backfield. Need a yard, waggle action. What did Johnson? End zone was Manhurts and out of bounds. Fortunately, Garrett Grayson. Don't force it, they'll tell him, won't they?
Well, luckily it's 3 yards outside the white, but you can see that they like to move Grayson, especially this second half, more so than any of what we've seen him this preseason is moving the pocket, getting him on the move and still trying to deliver.
Same deal when he hit Tommy Lee Lewis for the touchdown. Play action, bootleg to the opposite way. I think he's the most mobile of the 3 Saints quarterbacks.
Well, and capitalize on that mobility is the key. Tight formation this time. Hightower needs a yard as they push him back. He's going to be, I believe, short by about a half a yard. So a decision in a 10-point game. Try to get to 7 now, at least 6 now. Or do you settle for 3 and make it a 1-score game again early in the 4th?
They're going for it.
Johnson stays out there with Hightower. They stay in the aisle. Strong side, right side. Hightower goes low, and the scramble, I don't think he gets it. I think they fail on 4th down for the second time tonight. It was Williams underneath who picked up the personal foul on the hit on Lasco, and he busted up the play again.
They run the power, they pull the left guard, bring him around. Just not any room for Hightower to get the first down.
So Pittsburgh holds, gets it back at their 10. And it stays a 10-point game. Just about 3 minutes gone to the 4th. Let's see if the Saints can win the battle of field position and get it right back for the offense. Tonight's Saints game brought to you in part by Cox. Saints fans, get right to the good stuff with the new Contour Sports app from Cox. You can watch the Saints live, track multiple games at once, and it's all right there on your TV. That is the new Contour Sports app from Cox. Landry Jones in there at quarterback once again. The ultimate for them is he never takes a snap this season, unless it's a blowout win for the Steelers. And Roethlisberger's upright all year long. They'll run as much time as they can. Fitzgerald Toussaint, what a great name. The running back out of Michigan, a guy that wasn't drafted 3 years ago. Hard runner, had a great college career. It sounds like he should be an author. Fitzgerald Toussaint.
Well, Toussaint, all that does is remind me of our good friend and one of the great New Orleanians who's passed away this year. There's been many losses, and Alan Toussaint is near the top of that list.
One of the best interviews I've heard in recent years was Alan Toussaint on the radio with Angela Hill.
Oh, wow.
For a couple hours on WWL. A sensational interview. Good adjustments in the backfield by the running back. It's past the 15 up to the 16. So good run by Toussaint as Von Bell puts him down.
Speaking of being stuck in a bad depth chart situation, Tucson is sitting there behind Le'Veon Bell and D'Angelo Williams. Good luck getting touches out of that group.
And he's about the same size as D'Angelo Williams, a former Pro Bowler. They're both at about 5'9", 205, 210. With the experience of Williams. It's third about 4. Can they get the stop? Stupar on the blitz, and flags should be and will be thrown on the quarterback on that side for the Saints, Damian Swann. It has not been a good night so far.
There's going to be a lot of film to watch for this young secondary. Swann's had a little trouble tonight. P.J. Williams.
Personal foul, pass interference, defense, number 27. Spire the foul, automatic, first down.
And Ken Crawley's in that conversation as well. As you take a look at Swann, kind of gets turned around here. And look, contact instead of trying to find the football. We saw that earlier as well when I think it was Crawley that got beat on the touchdown by Antonio Brown. This is going to be a learning curve. And look, the whole curve took a sharp swing up against this Pittsburgh offense that we talked about at the top of this broadcast as being the biggest test they've had yet this preseason.
Swann, a 5th-round pick last year out of Georgia. As Tucson hits the deck, lost his footing, trying with one of those jump cuts we saw before. He loses about 4 on the play, so it's going to be a difficult decision. Swann played in 7 games, couple of starts last year.
Yeah, but the concussion slowed him down. I think there's a lot of things to like, and finding the right spot for him is going to be key. Is it as a nickel in the sub? Is it as a true backup quarterback? Those are questions that have to be answered when you're talking about the Swans, the Harrises, the Crawleys of this roster right now.
He got burned on that 58-yard pass to Sammy Coates when they brought Roman Harper on the blitz. Loss of 4 makes it 2nd and 14. Good heat. They send it that way, though. And Toussaint takes it past the 35 up to the 38.
John, what would you say? You know, we talked about the secondary in this test, this measuring stick game. When you look at the linebackers or even up front, through the whole course of the game, not just when Roethlisberger was in, but what would you say as to how they've measured up tonight, as far as the front guys or even the linebacking core?
Well, I don't think they've gotten the pressure that you would want from your front 7 across the board. Even when you bring the blitzes or the dog packages with your linebackers providing pressure, they just haven't been able to get home. You didn't see a lot of from Cam Jordan. Adebali was out early. Without that caveat, they still haven't provided a lot of pressure.
9+ to play on a 3rd down. There's a timeout called. Delay game.
Delay of game. Offense, number 3. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And don't forget, as we showed you the total yards for the Steelers tonight to that point, most of it has come through the air. Very little on the ground at all for Pittsburgh tonight. And that was the case for them last year, though, when you look at their numbers. They were one of the best passing teams, total yards, and just average at best on the ground. So now it's going to be 3rd and a dozen. Davis-Tull tries to get to the backfield. Toussaint's got it, but he's out of bounds, I think shy. They gave him a good spot, though. Went out of bounds just short of the 45 where he needed to go for the 1st down. He misses by a couple of feet, maybe. We remind you tonight's scoreboard brought to you by Rouse's, best chefs and cooks. Shop at Rouse's.
What brings up a 4th and short, but really when you're in a 3rd and long situation like that, you're trying to get them to throw the check down. They do, and yet you end up with a 4th and a half-yard situation.
You got more than you would have anticipated out of that.
You need to be able to close on the carrier as quickly as possible and prevent that yak yardage.
Now let's see as Barry will get it out in his 2nd season as the punter for the Steelers, and I bring it up. The wobbler is going to be taking a fair catch called for. Marcus Murphy's got it and comes up and cradles it. Just past the 20, near the 22-23-yard line. So the Saints will have it, still trailing by 10. High-speed play of the game brought to you by Cox. All the internet speed you need today and tomorrow. And it's Tommy Lee Lewis on the receiving end. 2nd touchdown of the game for the Saints. And good to see the Saints get into the end zone. They failed to last game. Drew Brees with Willie Snead on a 17-yarder in the 1st half. And now that one A 31-yarder to Tommy Lee Lewis from Garrett Grayson. Grayson in at quarterback once again. He'll finish it tonight. He's got a first down at the 23. Hightower moves penetration to the backfield. Did a good job to get 2 out. So while we're talking about the offensive line and things have been better, that time they slipped through and Hightower had to adjust as soon as he touched the football.
You got Ricardo Matthews in the backfield untouched. Hightower does an unbelievable job to not lose yardage, much less gain 2 yards.
Alert play by a veteran running back. It's 2nd and 8 from the 25. Grayson in trouble and it's batted right back. Trying the middle screen. Hargrave right in his face. The rookie 3rd-round pick out of South Carolina State. So we look for more of a ground game, and there has been more of a ground game, even if it hasn't been an auspicious ground game tonight with big yards.
Step in the right direction. That's what you needed. You shouldn't expect a complete overhaul in 5 days of practice, but it was an improvement. It was been a focus. Coach Payton's talked about it. He wants the run game to add more.
It'll be batted back again. That time off the edge. Good play by the Pittsburgh Steelers' Mike Riley.
For those tunnel screens, Grayson has to have some awareness that these are plays that edge pass rushers know are coming, especially in these situations. So you got to be able to move, get the ball thrown in a way that's not batted down or even worse, batted up into the air.
Thomas Morstead will punt it away. Hangs up a beauty once again. DeMarcus Ayers waits back at the 23, making a miss, and it almost looked like they got him around the face mask on the way by. It's a good punt coverage by the Saints once again. Pittsburgh gets it back though, up by 10. The others deep in the contest in the final in Carolina. So as we continue from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, 7:44 to play. And get ready, final one. That'll be 75 on the roster by then. Next Thursday, Tuesday's cut down. It'll be interesting to see where they trim the mows. Bryn Renner, 2nd season out of North Carolina, in at quarterback at 6'3", 225. In the handoff, I would imagine. And it's Darrell Richardson on the carry. Out of Abilene Christian for maybe a yard. All you want to do now is keep the clock moving. And as we look at the big picture for the Saints, Sean Payton made it a priority. He said, we want to win. Going to get some W's in the preseason. It doesn't look like that's going to occur once again tonight.
Well, across the board, you want to win. You want to win individual battles. You want to win as a defense, as an offense, every play. And they've done some of that. But across the board, you look at these preseason games, and it's just not been enough.
They run Ayers. He'll get it on the reverse. Made a good cutback by Ayers into the secondary. First down, Pittsburgh. So gadget action for their wide receiver. He's brought down by Davis Tuck, draft choice from last season. Inside of 7 to play. So the lack of continuity, and especially on the defensive side, more than offensively, because we haven't seen Drew Brees enough with the first team offense to make a total evaluation on that.
I couldn't agree more. I think the lack of seeing Drew out there, and I think Teron Armstead's a big issue.
Yeah, they have to find out what's going on there as Richardson slowed down and then put down. And again, Mike Monty doing a really good job tonight.
In the backfield.
Yes, he's had penetration, he's made plays, slowed him down.
Well, he's a linebacker really known more for his special teams abilities and what he brings to the team, but 30-second timeout. But he's showing tonight that he can make some plays from the defensive side of things.
Yeah, and I like the way he stayed with the play. He gets back up after he started the play by slowing down the running back, and Von Bell comes in. He's back at it. He's got a good motor.
It runs in his blood, though. You see Papa Bear right there, Rich Monty.
But he handled the ball. He was on the offensive side, wasn't he?
The tight end, former tight end for the Saints.
Now a big real estate mogul. Yeah, I think that's the right word. Yeah, I want to go back to the winning thing just for a moment, because
these guys have talked about this being the most physical camp they can remember, the competitiveness of the camp. The win is a reward for that kind of work.
Off the edge. Finnegan into the backfield. He gets the quarterback, Bryn Renner, the sack all the way back at the 28. So we talked about the experience bringing him in.
You want to see the difference between a veteran and a rookie? Finnegan comes off the edge right here. Pump fake, does he leave his feet? Absolutely not. That's the difference between flying past the quarterback in the air and coming away with a sack right there.
Good pickup.
And speaking of pickups, then picks up the quarterback.
Good pickup.
Come on, buddy. Give me another shot. 3rd down and long. It's Richardson. Hit from behind. So Cortland Finnegan, an ad and a late ad at that.
Yeah, a guy who is really just spending his time coaching, which he really enjoys doing up in the Nashville area. Cortland Finnegan decided back in college that if the football thing didn't work out, he wanted to be a firefighter. He said it'd be the closest thing to playing football, the adrenaline of running into a burning building, the spontaneity and the contact that's involved in that profession. I think the football thing worked out for Cortland Finnegan, but I do appreciate his love of firefighters.
It'll be Barry punting it away, a short one. And Tommy Lee went down. Maybe misjudged a little bit because if he can get under it and he knows it, he's got plenty of room to run. That's frustration.
Looks like he did a fair catch after he caught the ball. I've never seen that before.
A knuckleball to that. Well, Raycom Media is going to air a flood relief concert. It's Louisiana Rising 2016. It's going to be on Labor Day, okay, September 5th from 7 to 9. It's hosted by Louisiana natives, Randy Jackson and Harry Connick Jr. The concert is going to feature some amazing performances of artists, and we can list them all, but you know them all, which is the best part about it. They want to be involved. Concert's going to benefit the American Red Cross Louisiana Flood Relief Fund. It's going to be broadcast across all Raycom Media television stations. Murphy gets it out to the 35-36, gain of about 4. But don't forget, it is September 5th, Monday, Labor Day, 7 to 9 p.m., and it's hosted by Randy Jackson, Harry Connick Jr., a ton of great artists from 7 to 9 that night across the Raycom Media Network. And all for the right reasons. Thrown behind. Grayson threw way behind Marcus Murphy. And a blemish, unfortunately, on a pretty productive night for Garrett Grayson. Steve Johnson comes up with it. Look at I-Found, 5th year out of Kansas. And a good special team player for them last year.
Yeah, for Grayson, this is regrettable. Way behind the receiver here and didn't really have a chance for it. But on the bright side of things, that Louisiana Rising concert sounds like a great lineup. The only thing better is the cause that it's for. So if you can make it out, I highly encourage it. It should be a great show for a great cause.
So the Steelers with Bryn Renner at quarterback. We'll get it now at the Saints 37. First time they started a drive tonight in Saints territory. More than 4 to play. Toussaint finds a little seat down to the 35. Not much. And now more than anything else, you want to get out of here healthy. In a 10-point game. And we saw Lasco go to the bench. We saw Pruitt already to the locker room as well on special teams, kind of a knee-to-knee thing.
Who, man?
Yep.
Yep.
And Armstead.
And Armstead didn't come back out, did he?
No.
That's a concern. Your quarterback's blind side. Your left tackle, and a very good one at that. It'll be 2nd and 8. Jump cut. Toussaint down to the 31.
You know, right now in the game, and really after 3 weeks of losses up to this point, as a player, I think it kind of separates the wheat from the chaff a little bit. You see guys that like to rise to the occasion and keep fighting, and then you see some guys that aren't mentally tough, and they feel the weight of working hard, going through a grueling camp, and not getting that immediate reward and understanding there's a bigger picture you're fighting for.
3rd and 4. Won't get the first down. Takes it to the 30. And an opportunity for their field goal unit potentially.
For the defense that's out there right now, that's a big stop. You got a 4-minute situation. You know the Steelers are going to try to run out the clock, and you prevent them from doing that.
So a timeout has been called by Sean Payton. 1 timeout left for the Saints. Well, and as I said, most of the yards have been through the air tonight, not on the ground, which tells you that they have to work on their packages, and not only in the secondary, but on their pressure packages, how they can find ways to get to the quarterback.
Well, it's a complementary game. If the guys up front aren't providing the pressure, puts too much pressure on the back end, and they don't have, they can't cover forever, especially not that group that Steelers put out there.
It's Boswell, the 48-yard attempt. He's only got 1 tonight, and you can make it 2. So 48-yarder after we saw a 40-yarder from Boswell earlier in the second half. Yeah. How about celebrating the 50th anniversary with us of Saints football? And who holds the record for the most interceptions? Dave Waymer.
37 interceptions. Who on the roster is going to get 37?
And they did not throw the football nearly as much as they do in today's NFL. Back when Dave Waymer put up that number.
Nick Fairley's not getting 37, I'll tell you that.
All right, if you can score here, you can practice your onside kick as well. So you can work on that aspect of the special teams. And that's all the coaches really want to do is get things on film in the preseason. Back deep, it's going to be Cadet and Murphy. Murphy down the middle. So he's been alternating Tommy Lee Lewis and Marcus Murphy. And neither one really has had opportunities because of the fair catches they've been calling.
C.J. Spiller was the first kickoff returner.
Yeah. And Spiller had a good night if he joined us late. His wheels look good. I mean, he was firing. As we talk about the running backs, he looked comfortable. It'll be Murphy backpedaling, and he'll stay there. It'll come out to the 25.
Joel, I got a question for you. Have you heard about what's going on tomorrow?
Tomorrow, 10-1.
Is it 10-1?
I'm going to be there. Are you going to be there?
I've heard good things about this.
You're going to be with me.
It's the Pelicans select a seat promotion.
You can post up. I want to see you rebound. So you can pick your seat tomorrow, and you can just get information tomorrow. Nothing's required. Just show up 10 a.m. to 1 o'clock at the Smoothie King Center, because the Pelicans are going to be one of the surprises in the NBA.
I've heard that. I've heard
45 to 50 win.
Do you remember where you heard that?
Don't discount that. Okay.
I think there's some Anthony Davis bobbleheads being given away tomorrow at that event.
I doubt it. They're all at Joel's
I'm looking forward to the matchup with the Atlanta Hawks in particular. It'll be 1st and 10 for the 25 for this Georgia Bulldog. Grayson wide of the intended target. Good grab though. Murphy one-handed. But we talked about putting guys in a position to succeed where they can advance on their own. So 2nd and 5, clock rolling, 1 timeout left on the board for the Saints, plus the 2-minute warning. And popped into the air, and R.J. Harris didn't see it coming his direction, did he?
Not on the same page there. It looked like Grayson was expecting a certain amount of timing with Harris, and Harris hadn't made the break out of his route right there, so luckily got away with one. The cornerback gets his hands on it, wasn't able to bring it down.
3rd and 5 from the 30. Traffic should not be an issue tonight in a 13-point game. Yeah. Tight end's got it, Garrett Griffin. It's a first down for the rookie from Air Force.
He's an interesting guy because he can also serve as a long snapper, so he provides some versatility. A little side conversation about picking the 53.
And they looked at him, didn't they, at the Greenbrier?
Yep.
In that role. It was a forward pass.
Did that get tipped?
I didn't see a tip.
There's one
I will
thing.
say the more you can do, the better.
The throw that was picked off last series, the throw to Murphy that didn't work out, and now this one here. I don't know if Garrett's working on touch here a little bit, but he's floating some footballs.
That's his wobble.
Yeah.
It'll be 2nd and long. let's see if he can get the protection to get it downfield. This time he does, and he throws it right to the linebacker. The interception for the Steelers goes to Makedevich. So the rookie from Temple, 7th round pick, and it was thrown like he was the target.
Well, he drops back into the zone. Grayson never sees him. He's eyeing the safety that's over the top. Feels like he's got a route, but you got to be able to see those linebackers. The linebacker, give him credit, he was wide open.
Garrett, you just stopped me in my tracks. Garrett started the day, 10 of 12 throwing, Joel, and you know what was very promising half of work is just the wheels have kind of come off here for Mr. Grayson.
And most of the throws underneath, short throws, with the exception of the one for the touchdown to Tommy Lee Lewis, which was a wide open receiver blowing coverage. Richardson will try to run out the clock now. Only one timeout left for the Saints. Gain of a little over 2. And it'll take us down to the 2-minute warning. So the Steelers in control, and it's been that way since the first quarter. Well, coming up right after the game, it'll be Juan Kincaid in the studio with Curtis Lofton. Sean Kazan's going to join them as well, as they'll break it down for you. We go over everything, and they'll also have post-game press conference coverage. So you'll hear from Sean Payton and guys in the locker room as well, as Sean's going to be in there. It's all coming up in just a few minutes. Last 2 minutes of the game. It's once again Richardson diving ahead. He's got it short of the first down by about 2 to the 43. There's only one timeout remaining for the Saints on a 3rd and a couple.
You see Grayson watching it live.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants to see that.
Just in motion.
He started 11 of 13. Back to what we were talking about for 105. He finished 3 for 10, and in those 10 attempts were the 2 interceptions.
Learning experience.
Caught a 3rd and 3. And just a bit of a breakdown in communication. Mike Monty appreciates it, though. Bottom line, as the quarterback, I guarantee you the quarterback, Bryn Renner, and the running back, Darrell Richardson, have not had a lot of reps together.
No, but Monty's still playing with high energy.
Yes.
You like a guy like that inside the last minute. Now he's ready to get off the field.
He did. He ran all the way over to the sideline, got an attaboy from Streif, and then turned around and realized, well, I got to go back to work.
Let's keep playing.
Yeah.
So on 4th down, another running play potentially. Set up Hamilton in the backfield as well. Richardson, and that'll do it. Saints get it back. Stops the clock on the change of possession with 29 seconds remaining. So the Saints will get ready for the Ravens on Thursday night right here on these same television stations along the Raycom Saints television network. Willie Snead had a grab and a sensational one for a touchdown in the first half. He and Drew Breeser, they're on the same page. Crooks was not targeted all that often tonight, was he?
Not that I can recall.
Right. Grayson back in there. Get a 13-point game. And Marcus Murphy in the secondary took a pop. So he's got it inside the 40, taking that shot. Man, he'll get up very slowly.
He needs a minute. That was a big shot.
Dangerfield came running out of the secondary. Jordan Dangerfield. He was a practice squad guy last year. Unfortunately, Marcus up.
I want to see if the defender led with his head here. Yes, he did.
Ooh.
Very much so. That's twice tonight.
God, that's a scary shot there.
But it looked like more the shoulder than we saw before.
Out of the game.
Watching for the crown of the helmet there.
Bang. All right,
Looks like a launch right to the chin.
There's 3 plays tonight. The horse collar on the Fleener reception, Daniel Lasco, and now Marcus Murphy. Out of those 3 plays, 3 very important plays to player safety and what this league is trying to do. Out of the 3, there was 1 flag. 1.
Yeah, that looked pretty clear. And watching it from up here and being able to replay it, but that's the crown of the helmet to the right underneath the face mask. That's a dangerous shot.
Tell me you couldn't hear that if you're standing down there? It sounded like a car crash.
Unfortunately, Marcus Murphy over to the sideline. Walked over there. Last snap it should be of the contest. And that'll do it on the run by Cadet. So the Saints fall by 13 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Third consecutive game they have matched up with a playoff team from last season. Patriots, Texans, also the Steelers. Same result all 3 times. We'll be right back to the Dome in just a moment.